CFAX Victoria,
an iHeart radio station. If it's happening,
it's here.
CFAX 1070.
Hello, good morning. It is 6 o'clock on Tuesday, June 16th. It's a little blustery out there. We've got some wind off the Juan de Fuca Strait expected today. It's going to be mainly sunny otherwise. Highs of 21, so we're seeing that cooling now after the last couple of hot days, and we'll get you a full forecast in just a moment. Right now, the news begins, and here is Lisa Best.
Thanks, Ryan, and good morning. A couple of reasons for that 6-hour-long BC Hydro power outage that affected more than 4,400 businesses and homes last night in Highlands and Langford between 7 and 1 a.m. It wasn't the wind for this one. They lost power due to equipment failure, according to BC Hydro crews. The other outage that also stretched into View Royal was caused by a tree down on wires, so the wind could have been a culprit partly in that case. Another BC Hydro outage affecting more than 1,700 in the Duncan area last night between 8 and 11 was due to equipment failure. An update on Canada's oldest Chinese temple extensively damaged by fire yesterday afternoon. Victoria fire crews rushed to Tam Kung Temple, 1713 Government Street, and the business below around 2:45 Monday afternoon. On reports of smoke pouring out of the roof of the building, crews did fast work on the flames. But CTV Vancouver Island reports there is extensive smoke and water damage throughout all 3 floors of the building. That's shutting the businesses down on the main floor as well. The Tam Kung Temple is one of Victoria's most significant heritage landmarks, recognized as a National Historic Site of Canada. It did undergo some extensive renovations just last year. Environment Canada has issued a coastal flooding statement for the Greater Victoria coastline. It covers the area all the way from Cordova Bay to East Souk until this morning. Forecasters say high tides and strong westerly winds have the potential to produce high water levels into this morning. Coastal flooding is possible along coastal shorelines facing west and south, especially in low-lying areas. Water news we don't want to hear. A school field trip went to a water park in Chilliwack yesterday. Ended up landing a dozen students in hospital, some with serious conditions. A park official says the kids were hurt while waiting in line to go on a ride.
There's a queuing area at the bottom of that ride with railing, and that when they made contact with there, that's where the incident occurred. It appears to be electrical. We want to get to the bottom of it and eliminate any future question marks, any future concerns about this.
No doubt. RCMP say the grade 6 and 7 students were all in stable condition after initially suffering serious but non-life-threatening injuries. A Vancouver Island MP is happy with the federal government moving forward with the National Food Security Strategy. Courtney Alberni MP Gord Johns wants safeguards against big grocery pricing.
Obviously, we want to make sure that there's a code of conduct when it comes to ensuring people know what they're getting, dealing with, shrinkflation, that kind of thing, and of course, an excess profit tax on the big grocers, so that money can go and flow to, creating supports for local producers and farmers, and we want to make sure that that there's not the predatory pricing that we've been talking about and calling on the government to address.
John says establishing food hubs in both the east and west would be an important step for producers in ensuring their products get to market. That peace deal with Iran will be a major point of discussion among G7 leaders gathering for second-day meetings in France, but trade and the ongoing U.S. tariffs are another hot topic.
Tariffs do no one any good, especially between G7 countries, Macron said.
Canada has that same message for the U.S., but Carney isn't planning to bring it up with Trump. He told reporters those discussions will be held on the sidelines of this summit between the Minister of Canada-U.S. Trade, Dominic LeBlanc, and U.S. Trade Representative Jamieson Greer. Mike Lecouteur, CTV News, Evian, France.
And it's another busy day for FIFA action. Ghana and Panama are facing off in Toronto Stadium tomorrow. Meanwhile, CTV's Andrew Johnson has more from Vancouver, where Team Canada is prepping for that second match.
He's a world-class player, so obviously to have him in the lineup would be amazing.
Davies is out with a hamstring injury and wasn't in the lineup for Canada's tournament opening draw in Toronto. He does seem to be in good spirits, sharing a video of his encounter with a Vancouver fan who didn't recognize him.
Yeah, I just want to say, I love your jersey.
Thursday, Canada will host Qatar, a crucial match to move on to the knockout round. Every team in Canada's group has now started the tournament with a tie.
I think we can look at it as if we're all on even points with 2 games to left. We want to go and win.
Canada-Qatar match Thursday starts at 6 o'clock. We're going to hear more from sports guy Steve because he is going to be in the stands. And that's your news to 6:05. Your CFAX 1070 news poll, since yesterday was World Elder Abuse Day, we're drawing attention to the problem and asking you, do you know someone who has faced abuse, a senior? You can let us know at cfax1070.com or the iHeartRadio app. I'm Lisa Best, your news time 6:06.
Thank you, Lisa, and good morning. It's going to be a bit on the windy side today, depending on where you are. It's sort of southwesterly winds hitting the Juan de Fuca Strait exposed side of the capital region the most. But other than that, sunshine and quite a bit cooler compared to the last few days. It's going to be a high of 21 degrees right now. It is at the airport, 17. If you're by the Oak Bay waterfront, though, it's 13 degrees.
Wow, big change.
Lots of difference out there, as there often is. Full forecast to come. Right now, over to the CFAX 1070 Sports, and I think you were mentioning, Lisa, in the news there, that the World Cup continues, of course, with Team Canada getting ready in Vancouver and all of that stuff happening. So let's get to the World Cup report.
This is your TSN Radio FIFA World Cup 2026 update.
I'm John Rodenberg. Monday was a day of ties at the World Cup. Island nation Cabo Verde, in its first World Cup, held 2010 champion Spain to a 0-0 draw despite being outshot 27-6.
Cabo Verde with a result of a lifetime.
Egypt held Belgium to a 1-1 tie. Uruguay had 22 second-half shot attempts on Saudi Arabia before netting the tying goal in a 1-1 draw. Iran, to a mix of boos and cheers, began its tournament in Los Angeles and tied New Zealand 2-2. Monday, a day after losing 5-1 to Sweden, Tunisia fired its coach one game into its World Cup. Today, France begins its tournament versus Senegal, while defending champion Argentina meets Algeria tonight. Canada was back on the pitch for practice Monday. Alphonso Davies remains in return-to-play protocol. The rest of the Canadian players had no injury designations. Canada will play Qatar on Thursday. You can watch the FIFA World Cup matches on TSN, CTV, Crave, and streaming at tsn.ca. Listen on the TSN Radio Network with all games streaming on the iHeartRadio app.
Well, there you go. And a quick look at baseball. Toronto Blue Jays open a 3-game series in Boston tonight, aiming to snap a 2-game losing streak against the last-place Red Sox. So that's what's happening in the world of baseball, and that's what's happening in the world of sports. It's now 6:08. Good morning. It is 6:10 on this Tuesday morning. Let's take a look at traffic and weather. By the way, the whole morning show is brought to you by Thrifty Foods. This Saturday from 10 until 1, so 10 a.m. to 1 p.m., the first 200 kids aged 12 and under are invited to decorate a free brownie for Dad at all locations. Yes, it is Father's Day this weekend. Okay, so traffic, got a couple of things to tell you about, actually. There are no crashes or anything right now. This is all sort of future stuff for today. But the Bay Street Bridge, or the Point Ellis Bridge, if you will, despite the fact that it has kind of reopened to both directions, more or less, they did mention when they opened it that there would be some periodic night closures as they wrap up the work. And while we're heading into some of those for tonight, we will see a closure on the Point Ellis Bridge in both directions as of 7 p.m. tonight, and then that'll go overnight until 7 a.m., and then that's going to be the next couple of nights after this as well. So kind of all this week, night closures on the Bay Street Bridge. Watch out for that. We've got the ongoing road work for Cook Street that we talked about yesterday. This is southbound between Hillside and Bay. They're pouring the concrete for the bike lanes. So again, that's southbound Cook Street, Hillside to Bay. Watch out for that. And then starting today at 9, Vancouver Street between Johnson and Pandora will be fully closed for some Fortis work. So just cutting off all the access to those north-south routes in Victoria. That's what's going on today. BC Ferries, no sailing waits, and then mainly sunny today with a lot of wind. Wind is kind of one of the big features, and a cooling trend. You might already feel it. If you got your windows open, all of a sudden this kind of cooler breeze is coming in, blowing out all of that humidity. And that's going to continue over the course of the day with a high of 21, cooler by the water. Gusts up to 80 kilometers an hour off to Wanapeka Strait, southwesterly winds. Tonight, few clouds, lows to 12. Tomorrow, mainly sunny, highs of 21, cooler by the water. It starts to heat up a little bit on Thursday, Friday, and the weekend, but only in kind of like the low to mid 20s. Might peak at 25 degrees this coming Monday, but sort of getting back up there as we head towards the weekend. Right now for temperatures, it's 13 degrees on the Oak Bay waterfront. It's also 13 degrees in Langford. Let's get to the markets. Well, the markets haven't opened yet, actually. That's going to be a little later this hour. So let's take a look at how yesterday closed with Aaron Sousa.
Canadian markets hit a new high yesterday. Toronto's S&P TSX climbed 337 to 35,275. In New York, the Dow rose 468 and the Nasdaq gained 795. In Tokyo this morning, the Nikkei edged up 87 points, but the Hang Seng in Hong Kong gave back 348. Our dollar is trading at 71.37 US. Prime Minister Mark Carney will meet today with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky on the sidelines of the G7. He'll also meet with leaders from Italy, the UAE, India, and South Korea. Canada's ambassador to Washington says steel, aluminum, and auto tariffs remain a key focus in trade talks. The CUSMA renewal date is set for July 1st. Mark Weissman says it won't actually expire until 2036. And the Liberals' proposed privacy legislation spells out new rules for organizations and businesses. The bill sets higher standards for managing children's data. It also gives Canadians the right to request that personal information be deleted. From the Canadian Press Business Desk, I'm Aaron Sousa.
In the kitchen, in the car, and at the office. Ryan and Lisa, mornings on CFAX 1070. Take us with you. Listen live on the free iHeartRadio app.
Hey, good morning. Welcome to the day. Welcome to Tuesday here in Victoria, here on Vancouver Island in British Columbia, wherever you're listening from or watching. Thanks so much for joining us here. I'm Ryan. We got Lisa here. And Lisa, I was definitely taking in how light it was this morning. Not that, I mean, that's any different than the day before, but just the fact that the sun was fully up as I came in for morning radio reminded me that this Sunday is the solstice.
That's right.
Yeah, we're a few days away, which means we're pretty much at the lightest time of the year. The longest days of the year are with us right now.
You got a party with the Druids or what?
Exactly. Let's get some Druids. Let's go to Stonehenge. Let's do the thing. Sunday, June 21st is the summer solstice, the official date.
You got a time for us?
I can tell you. It's 4:24 a.m. Eastern time, which means it would be 1:24 a.m. Pacific time here in Victoria.
All right.
Is when we will officially hit the
and again, this is Sunday?
The peak, yeah, and then it all starts getting a little bit darker from there.
Don't go there.
Yeah.
It's way too soon. Anyone with seasonal affective disorder, right? Has just gone, what?
Don't worry, it'll take a few months before it starts to be noticeably darker. It's just...
Thanks, Ryan.
It's like 16 hours of daylight right now, which is amazing. Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, about
That
16
much?
hours of daylight.
I'll take it.
That's
It's
what
so nice waking up and coming to work in lights. It's like I actually have to start and occasionally, because you're half awake when you first wake up, and think, am I late?
Did I sleep in?
Right. Do you think that too?
Yeah, well, it's morning radio, folks. We're used to just getting up in the dark.
Everything
and
is in the dark, yeah.
showing up
Hermits.
and commuting. Yeah, but no, it's full on light right now
It's good.
as we approach the solstice.
Apparently, it's really good for your psyche, your inner core, or something to that effect. I'm not a scientist. But that early morning light and the way it actually hits your eyes, because the sun is so low on the horizon,
right?
It's actually supposed to be extremely good for your well-being.
We've evolved to enjoy
Smart
that for
people
some
have told
reason.
us, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, and I believe it. I believe it. It's not so much early bird, because if you're exhausted, obviously you want to sleep in.
Yeah.
But the early morning when you're up, and I know when I'm on tarmac and I'm out there and the birds are singing and everything, it's super quiet.
Because you're a motorcycle instructor on the
Yes.
tarmac. Yep.
I just hang out on pavement for fun. Thanks, Ryan.
I just want to make sure
It's my
everybody.
thing. Yeah, and it's just calm. It's a real Zen moment. I mean, it may be tired, but it's still a Zen moment. So I understand why people get up and go running and stuff. Maybe not the running part for me, but I get why you do it, because it really gets your day started. And having that light come in at that angle is apparently a thing.
Interesting.
I wanted to go down into the whole aspect of it, because I don't actually remember it all, but I remember reading it. You've probably read it too. And so the early bird, there's something to that for your health, provided you had a good night's sleep.
Yeah, that's the important part.
Right?
All right, at 6:16, let's get to the headlines with Lisa.
Downtown Victoria Business Association has released its latest annual report on the core and the status and the health of. The report, based on the Business Members Survey and other reputable sources, found optimism around retail vacancy rates, new number of business licenses, hotel occupancy rates, and the amount of current development. The downside remains open drug use, vehicle flow, and parking, or the lack of. The report's findings are similar to a Research Co. study released last week that was commissioned by the Downtown DVCA. The Greater Victoria Harbour Authority has picked a new leader. New CEO Jeremy Dunn will take over the position on July 7th after serving as Vice President of Operations with the Hamilton-Oshawa Port Authority, so making the move out west. Dunn has 2 decades of experience in port operations, commercial development, major infrastructure, and waterfront asset management. The authority recently parted ways with Robert Louis Manning. And across the pond in Vancouver, the union representing more than 700 Metro Vancouver outside workers have agreed to mediated talks with their employer. Jesse Medeiros with the Greater Vancouver Regional District Employees Union says this is a welcome first step after weeks of rotating job action. On Monday, union members took part in a full-scale strike that has since been called off. Metro Vancouver said it learned early yesterday that the union had agreed to mediation and called it a practical step forward to hopefully hammering something out. These 700 workers have been without a contract for about 17 months. That's your news to 6:18.
Thanks, Lisa. We'll do a quick little look at traffic and weather coming up. So if you see a problem out there, crash or accident, let us know at 71010. CFAX 1070 traffic and weather. It is 6:20 here on Tuesday morning, and we're taking a look at a fairly easy day so far on the commute. I see no crashes or accidents on our major highways. If you see otherwise, do let me know. We'll have a full closure of the Bay Street Bridge tonight starting at 7 p.m. and then going to 7 a.m. tomorrow, and then they're going to do this for the next 2 nights after that as well. Full closure again tonight on the Bay Street Bridge. Even though they've kind of reopened it to traffic, they still are wrapping up the construction project, and they mentioned that they would need this every once in a while, a bit more of a delay. That's just among the construction things today, and you can text us at 71010 if you see anything that's causing any trouble out there. BC Ferries, no sailing waits, lots of room on the 7 from Swartz Bay to Swassen, and in the weather forecast, kind of wind and cooler temperatures. That's the main picture of today. A mainly sunny day, highs of 21 degrees, but cooler by the water, where southwesterly winds will gust up to 80 kilometers an hour off the Juan de Fuca Strait. That's kind of through the morning into the early afternoon, where we'll see the peak of the wind. It's just blowing away all that humidity from the last few days. A few days of nice sunny conditions are ahead of us. We've got temperatures in this low 20s for the next couple. Then by the weekend, we're maybe getting up into the mid-20s. That's what we can expect for temperatures in the sunshine. And right now, a little cooler out there compared to those warm nights we've had recently. Let's go to Saanich by the University of Victoria, where it's 14 degrees right now. In Colwood by the water, it's also 14.
Ryan and Lisa. Mornings on CFAX 1070. Remember, you have us in the palm of your hand. For listeners on the go, listen live on the free iHeartRadio app.
We're talking about the fact that we're days from summer solstice, so we are having some of the longest, brightest days of the year. It doesn't help that it's nothing but sunshine right now in the forecast, so you're really getting all of that sun. And texter at 71010 says, "Good morning, Ryan and Lisa. It is nice to have the very late sunsets, but I go to bed early most nights. This means that I never get to see all the little solar lights around my deck and in the flowers."
Oh.
That's true. Yeah, if you kind of like when it's dark and you got all the nice lights out, it's sort of hard to catch that when it's, light until 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah,
That's
unless
funny.
you're actually sitting out, watching the grass grow and the sunset. I have people walking by my place going, "Oh, isn't that nice? Isn't that nice?" I'm like, okay, so someone notices. I don't sit out to watch it, but somebody else notices, so it's kind of cool.
Another texter at 71010 says, "This early sunshine and optimism fades as I am usually back in the dark as soon as I walk into work." Oh, but at least you got some daylight to go.
Yes.
And then this texter at 71010 brings up something that I wasn't going to bring up, but they're doing it. So here we go.
Okay.
Early morning daylight.
Sit down.
Yeah. Early morning daylight. We move into daylight savings time in winter, and that early morning light won't be until 9 a.m. So much for following science.
We're not falling back, are we?
Yeah, see, I wasn't going to bring it up, but this is one of the issues I have with the way
Just a
we
ray of
have
sunshine today, aren't you?
the way that we're settling in, because we're going to settle in on the one that means the evening light in the winter is prioritized. But that means it's going to be darker later. So it's going to be something like 9 in the morning by the time the sun rises in the dead of winter when we get to the other end of the solstice. So, yeah, I wasn't going to bring it up, Texter, but I do think that was one of the concerns I had, is that, because of what you said, Lisa, that, the morning sun can really help get everybody activated and going and helps with your mood if you push off the morning sun.
Slow it down for a minute and say it again. So at 9 o'clock, that's when we're going to look for sunrise?
In the dead of winter, since we're not going to change the clocks.
That's going to hurt.
And that's the thing. And apparently, I've been told by the Camosun College professor that has advocated against the one we're going towards.
Yeah.
He mentioned that the Americans did this under Nixon. Apparently, they did the exact same time change we're about to do permanently. They decided, let's not change the clocks anymore. Let's settle in on the same one we're going to settle in on, which is the savings time.
Right.
Then they made it one winter and immediately canceled it because they hated it so much.
Well, so why didn't... Okay.
Anyways,
so why don't we pay attention to history?
I wasn't going to bring it up.
But you did, and now it's lying there glistening.
The texter brought it up.
It's
not my fault. It's their fault.
Put it on the texter.
It's the listener's fault.
Oh, okay. You're just the messenger. Well, you know what happens to messengers. So why not pay attention to that and use history as an example?
Now, see, you and I are on the same wavelengths with this, but I talk to some friends.
Most of us are.
Well, no. But see, that's the thing. I talk to some friends who are they don't get that point of view at all. They think the evening light makes so much more sense. there's plenty of people who just are not convinced by that argument, and I mean, maybe they're right. Maybe the morning light won't affect them at all. Maybe having those lighter evenings is the paramount thing to them. So there are quite a few people who think we're going the right one.
Column B. Okay.
Yeah.
I could totally see that. There's always another side to it, and you're going to win on one end or the other. But I'd like to look at collisions to see if there's more early morning collisions or evening. I would guess it's evening.
Yeah.
But then again, we're actually falling back, but we're not as tired. So I would guess in the fall it would be evening because dark comes sooner.
Yeah.
So based on that, if that is actually the case, for safety's sake, then maybe we are doing the right way. Maybe they talked to the actuarials at ICBC beforehand and said, okay, well, on the roads, what's the safest course of action?
Maybe. Who knows? Yeah.
Surmising here.
Yeah. Hey, right. I want to tell everybody about something unrelated to how bright it is right now.
Okay.
I want to tell you that we are going to be giving away Jazz Fest tickets all this week from today onwards, because Jazz Fest starts Friday. It's the TD International Jazz Fest here in Victoria. There's acts happening in venues across downtown Victoria, but also in Esquimalt at the Bullen Field, which is right beside us, actually.
That's
right by.
A hub now, hey?
Oh, it's great. Yeah, I love the outdoor shows they do there. Then they've got the ones downtown at various venues. Great acts from Friday and then onwards right through the week. It's the TD International Jazz Fest. Tickets to a bunch of the different performances could be yours all this week. Here's how we're going to do it. We're going to make you work for it.
In a fun fashion.
In a fun way. Starting today, just the 8 o'clock hour, just after the 8 o'clock news and sports and weather and all that. We're going to get you to call us and scat.
Oh, my.
You know, what do you get? The jazz
That
folks?
wasn't on my bingo card.
Jazz folks, they do the scat.
Bleep, 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 bleep.
Yeah, exactly. You got to do that for us.
For how long?
At least 10 seconds. You got to give us at least 10 seconds of
solid
scat.
10 seconds of scat for tickets.
And then you will get various tickets. We'll tell you about which ones we're giving away coming up, because actually we've got one of the organizers of Jazz Fest joining us in the 7 o'clock hour to set this all up. So we're going to really kick this off. But yeah, Jazz Fest tickets all this week. All you got to do is call us and scat. Once we get to
That's all you got to do.
That's all you got to do. Nothing to it. Don't worry. It'll be a lot of fun. So that's coming up. But right now we got to make room for the 6:30 news, Lisa.
All right.
Okay.
Let's do that.
From CFAX 1070.
Here's what's happening around the island. Until June 27th, you can lock in for love with the BC SPCA Victoria and raise money to help injured, homeless, and vulnerable animals right here in Victoria. Until July 19th, downtown Victoria is alive with free soccer-themed events, live match screenings, and more. Details at downtownvictoria.ca. Get more event info at CFAX1070.com.
If it's happening, it's here.
CFAX 1070.
The Whole Home Show with Tony Joe.
Everyone wants to know about real estate. Is the market going up or down? Time to buy or sell? How can government programs and policies affect you? Hear from local experts on topics like appraisal, inspection, investment, and others on how to maximize your real estate sale.
Providing info on everything you needed to know about real estate. The Whole Home Show with Tony Joe. Saturdays at noon on CFAX 1070. CFAX Victoria.
An iHeart radio station. If it's happening,
it's here.
CFAX 1070.
Good morning. It is 6:30 on Tuesday, June 16th. A little breezy, a little cooler out there for Greater Victoria compared to the last few days. That's what you can expect out of today. Right now, at the airport, though, it's still quite warm, 17 degrees. But if you're closer to the Juan de Fuca Strait, like along the Colwood waterfront, a bit cooler, where it's 14 right now. A full forecast to come right now. The news begins, and here is Lisa Best.
Thanks, Ryan, and good morning. A Vancouver Island MP is welcoming the federal announcement of a national food strategy, a security strategy. Courtney Alberni MP Gord John says establishing these food hubs is an important step for producers.
You know, we talked to the producers. They're calling for money in infrastructure, storage hubs. We know that in Toronto, for example, they're looking for an upgrade, something that New Democrats have been sorting, and expanding hubs, creating hubs in both the west and the east to support farmers, making sure that their product gets to market, but also that there's proper storage facilities for that product.
John says they welcome measures to strengthen competition and challenge the dominance of giant grocery chains. Prime Minister Mark Carney has announced that Canada will impose new sanctions against Russia as it continues to wage war with Ukraine. Carney made the announcement during a meeting with Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky at the G7 summit. Zelensky thanked Canada for its support and says the working session on Ukraine was great.
Our partners supported our messages, what we really need, energy package, we need air defense, more Patriot missiles.
Ukraine's president joined the G7 leaders for talks today, earlier in France. U.S. president continues to tout his agreement with Iran while meeting with world leaders today in France. ABC News senior correspondent Rachel Scott is in Switzerland with the latest.
Senior administration officials say the deal broadly reopens the Strait of Hormuz and lifts the U.S. blockade on Iranian ports. While the president insists the strait will be permanently toll-free, Iran says they do plan to collect fees for services. And there are still lingering questions about if Iran will get a payout.
The Canadian Real Estate Association says home sales in May were down compared with a year ago, but activity was higher than it was in April.
CREA says home sales totaled just over 47,000 nationwide in May, while sales were down 5.1% from the same month last year. The organization says there was meaningful upward momentum month over month for the first time this year. Activity was 5.5% higher on a seasonally adjusted basis compared with April of this year. The national average price of a home sold in May was $702,000. That's the highest it's been in 2 years. Karen Rebo, The Canadian Press.
We've had a lot of sunshine over the past week, and there's lots of sunscreen products on the shelves these days. A dermatologist offering some advice as to which ones would be best for you. Dr. Jennifer Lucas is with the Cleveland Clinic. She says the most important thing is that it's SPF that is 30 or higher.
It should have the words broad spectrum on it, meaning it covers all the rays of the sun that are going to hit your skin. And then I usually recommend you have a water-resistant or waterproof version so that it doesn't wash, rub off.
Lucas says some products with zinc oxide or titanium dioxide are the best.
So the advantage of those are they can be less irritating to the skin. So if you have allergic skin, sensitive skin, younger children, these are a product that you may want to opt for.
Lucas adds, she says not to worry about getting brand names or higher end products. Just make sure that you check the ingredients. An update on that power outage. There was a couple of them last night, major ones. More than 4,400 homes and businesses without power last night in Highlands and Langford. That was between 7 and 1. It wasn't wind for this time. Some lost power due to equipment failure. The other outage that stretched into View Royal, apparently caused by a tree down on the wires. Another BC Hydro outage up island affecting more than 1,700 customers. That was in the Duncan area between 8 and 11 last night. Was also due to equipment failure. And if you like Hollywood paraphernalia, especially films, Heritage Auctions has announced a slew of classic film items hitting the auction block next month. They include a lightsaber from The Empire Strikes Back. That'll go for a pretty penny. Hats from The Wizard of Oz, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, as well as a hockey jersey worn by Paul Newman in the movie Slapshot. Also up for grabs, that inflatable Otto the Autopilot from the 1980 film Airplane, which of course starred late Canadian actor Leslie Nielsen.
Can you fly this plane and land it?
Surely you can't be serious.
I am serious. And don't call me Shirley.
Yeah, that was Leslie. The auction runs July 13th through 17th. It also contains a major Beatles artifact. John Lennon's handwritten lyrics for the song If I Fell are back up for opening bid of $500,000 US next month. Again, it starts mid-July. That's your news to 6:35. Your CFAX 1070 news poll question this morning, we're asking, do you know a senior who has faced abuse since yesterday was World Senior Abuse Awareness Day? 9% are saying yes, they have personally. 23% say they know someone, and 68% say no, but very disconcerting that more than a third are saying yes. You can vote now at CFAX1070.com or the iHeartRadio app, and you can also listen to us in about 15 minutes from now. BC Seniors Advocate Dan Levitt is going to be on talking about these results and about how we can help people with World Elder Abuse Awareness Day just happening on Monday. That's your news to 6:37.
Texter at 71010 writes, "Good morning, Ryan and Lisa. On my way to the bus stop by Glen Lake, and there's a large low-hanging cloud blowing mist that feels like light rain." That's from Aaron.
Okay.
Actually, I'm if you look out towards the wand, if you go straight towards the water, you do see like this misty stuff out there, kind of morning mist and fog.
Kind of nice.
Yeah, and it's sort of part of this cooling trend today. It's going to be a lot less hot than it has the last few days, and we'll tell you all about it in our traffic and weather in just a few moments. Right now, over to the sports. We'll start with let's start with local baseball. The Victoria Harper Cats will be taking on, I love this team, the Redmond Dudes. They're taking on the Dudes today. That's going to be the start of a 3-game series for those teams today, tomorrow, and Thursday. So Harper Cats in action for the Toronto Blue Jays. They're also opening up a 3-game set in Boston tonight, aiming to snap a 2-game losing streak against the last place Red Sox. In the World Cup of Soccer, teams in Group I and J will kick off their World Cup with 4 matches scheduled in the United States. No Canadian arenas hosting anything today. We will see France. Yeah, France is getting into action. They're going to play Senegal in East Rutherford. Iraq will face Norway in Boston. And for Group J, Argentina and Algeria square off in Kansas City. Austria and Jordan will meet in San Francisco Bay. A bit of drama last night, though, at the World Cup. The coach of Iran's World Cup team says his squad was ordered to leave the U.S. and return to its training base in Mexico only a few hours after opening its tournament last night by playing to a 2-2 draw with New Zealand. That game took place in Inglewood, California. The coach didn't specify who ordered the Iranians to leave earlier than planned. The team was expecting to spend the night in California before crossing back to Mexico. That's your CFAX 1070 Sports to 6:39. Well, it's 6:40 on this Tuesday morning. Let's take a look at traffic and weather. Still looking fairly uneventful for the morning commute when it comes to any accidents. No crashes, no problems like that. We will have a full closure of the Bay Street Bridge tonight, 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. As they do some more work there, although it's open during the day. And then they're doing the same thing, an overnight closure for the next couple of days after this as well. Pandora Avenue, I should say... Vancouver Street between Pandora Avenue and what was the other cross street there? Johnson. So it's Pandora to Johnson. They're going to see a full road closure for that stretch of Vancouver starting at 9 this morning. So that's not in effect yet, but a little later on this morning. Watch out for that. It's just one of the new bits of road work starting up this week. For BC Ferries, no sailing waits right now. Lots of room on our 7 o'clock sailing from Swartz Bay to Tsawwassen. And in the weather, it's sort of it's a transition day. We're getting... all this wind blowing off the water, kind of cooling things off a little bit. We'll see a cooler temperature, high of 21, less humidity, and a little bit of morning mist for some parts of Greater Victoria. It's not everywhere, but we did get that text from the Glen Lake area. Somebody waiting at the bus, and all of a sudden this rainy mist blew through. So it looks like that. For everything. It looks like that out there right now. That's sort of what's going on. But yeah, otherwise we are looking pretty good. And just since I'm talking traffic, back to the traffic for a second. Texter says, "Good morning. I had a quick question. Is the Bay Street Bridge open now?" Yes, I don't mean to alarm anybody with this overnight closure. Was it last week or the week before that? The Bay Street Bridge fully reopened. Except they're doing some overnight closures again to sort of wrap up some work. So that's tonight and for the next few nights.
It's tonight, Wednesday, and Thursday from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m.
But the rest of the time, it's fully reopened.
Correct.
So I hope that answers the question, Texter.
Hopefully when you're not taking it.
Yeah.
Or needing it.
Yeah, there you go. Oh, and this texter wants to say, watch out, that gas line construction on Caledonia between Cook and Quadra is still happening with single lane alternating traffic. Yeah, there's another one. There's just so many to mention right now. Just every time
Like I said, if you've got a street that doesn't have something happening, we want to hear about it.
That's the one to mention.
Where's the peace?
Where is it calm? Right now, it's 17 degrees at the airport, 14 degrees along the waterfront in the city. For the business news, no results as of yet as opening bells just ring, but S&P TSX in Toronto up 337 to 35,275. The Dow is up 468 to 51,671. The NASDAQ 795 to 26,683. So those are all the numbers at the close yesterday, and we'll see what happens today as things are about to open. Canadian dollar overseas trading has been at 71.4 cents US.
Ryan and Lisa, mornings on CFAX 1070. Oversleepers, catch all the highlights on the latest audio podcast at CFAX1070.com and on the free iHeartRadio app.
I didn't mean to open up the can of worms about the time change.
But you did.
I didn't. I wasn't even going to say it.
You might as well say traffic circle. You're going to get the same results. Time change is a trigger for us.
But hey, I appreciate that you're writing in at 7:10, so I'm going to read your messages. So Paul saying, with long daylight hours in the summer months, it doesn't make much difference whether we went with daylight savings or standard time. We should have chosen what works best for the winter months when there's so much less daylight. So that's one of the text messages.
Okay.
Another message is, standard time is best. You can't expect kids to be excited to go to school in the dark.
Agreed.
Yeah, I do see this. You're preaching to the choir here. I was on that side. But anyways, there's plenty of folks who are convinced the other way, so I don't want to say that it's all a slam dunk for the way I think, but
whatever suits for you.
This texter says, I'm not looking forward to later morning daylight. I don't think it's going to work. So this is the fact that right now, I was just mentioning that it's very close to solstice. It's this Sunday, 21st of June, longest day of the year.
What time, Ryan?
What? At for us, it's like 1 something in the morning.
Right.
1:24 was it?
You don't have to be up for it.
It's around that. And that will be the longest day of the year, and we're pretty much there. So, that's why at sunrise happened today, for instance, at 5:11.
Okay.
5:11 in the morning.
It was very bright.
It was.
It's really nice because it just makes you feel, I don't know, happier, more centered. What's the word?
Yeah, well, we just talked about that. Like
Calm?
For us morning radio folks, actually getting to go into work with the sun up, it was it's been special these last couple of weeks, and for the next couple of weeks, I guess, when it's still pretty early. But with the time change, we were just mentioning, actually listeners were mentioning, that it's going to be very dark when we don't put our clocks back in the fall. Just the opposite of what we're getting right now. So thanks for weighing in at 7:10:10. Didn't mean to stir the pot. At 6:45, what's happening in the news, Lisa?
I'll stir the pot for you. Prime Minister Mark Carney spoke with the U.S. President briefly during the G7 summit in France. The two spoke for a few moments in what looked like an intense discussion before leaders gathered for a working lunch. Hopefully that went down well. The lunch was focused on overcoming crises and ensuring stability in the Middle East. No word on tariffs. The University of Toronto G7 Research Group head John Curtin said the summit could yield progress on major themes despite the tensions that continue over the U.S. tariffs here in Canada. Talks between Canada and Italy underway to purchase some advanced training jets. The Prime Minister met with Italia's President Giorgia Meloni at the summit today. It's unclear how many M346 jets Canada is looking to purchase from Leonardo, one of Italy's largest aerospace companies. Canada ordered 6 Italian-made M346 fighter jets earlier this year for a new NATO training center in North Bay, Ontario. We all know it. We have sticker shock in the grocery aisle now. Well, it continues. That new survey from Interact is finding single Canadians are paying a lot more for groceries than those living in shared households. The report suggests nearly 8 in 10 single Canadians say they can't seem to bring their grocery bills down no matter how they shop. Food inflation has continued to outpace overall inflation in recent years. Now, the Bank of Canada reports in February the grocery prices have risen roughly 22% in less than 4 years, while other consumer pricing has gone up 13% on average. Yeah, we're paying way too much for food. That's your news to 6:47.
Thank you, Lisa. Coming up next on the program, we are going to be talking to BC's seniors advocate after World Elder Abuse Awareness Day yesterday. We're checking in on how communities across BC mark the occasion and what kind of impact this year's Be Bold, Age with Attitude campaign is having. So that's coming up in just a moment. Also, traffic and weather. See a problem out there, crash or accident, or something else that's causing you trouble on the roads? Let us know, and we'll pass it on at 7:10:10.
From CFAX 1070.
Here's what's happening around the island. Until June 27th, you can lock in for love with the BC SPCA Victoria and raise money to help injured, homeless, and vulnerable animals right here in Victoria. Until July 19th, downtown Victoria is alive with free soccer-themed events, live match screenings, and more. Details at downtownvictoria.ca.
Get more event info at CFAX1070.com.
If it's happening, it's here.
CFAX 1070.
Out to the road, CFAX traffic and weather. No crashes or accidents at this time. We do have a lot of road work, as texters were mentioning a few moments ago. There will be gas line construction on Caledonia between Cook and Quadra. Yeah, that's still a thing with single lane alternating traffic today. We've still got the paving on Cook Street, southbound closure, Hillside to Bay. They're putting the concrete in for the bike lanes there. That's just a couple of the spots. Yeah, a lot of construction around town today. If you've got a particular one you want to pass on, text us at 71010. For the BC Ferries, no sailing wait. 7 o'clock sailing has lots of room left, and it's leaving in 10 minutes' time. And then for the weather forecast, let's work through this. There's a lot going on. So we've got some blustery conditions off the water, gusty winds off the Juan de Fuca Strait up to 80 kilometers an hour for sort of this morning and this afternoon. That's where it'll be at its peak. Wind that's blowing all that mugginess away. So we're really cooling off, or at least starting to. And that'll be a trend through the day. Highs of 21, cooler where the wind blows on shore. A few clouds tonight even, with lows down to 12 degrees and still quite a bit breezy into the evening. One other thing I mentioned about today's forecast is if you kind of look out into the strait, you'll see some of this low fog, low mist. It's occasionally wafting over some parts of the west shore. We had a texter from Glen Lake saying it kind of came over them and almost felt like it was raining, this sort of like cool, rainy mist blowing around. So that's the situation today. The rest of the week, it's going to be sunny right through, including the weekend. Temperatures starting off this week at this like 20, or I should say starting off today with this 21-degree high. Same for tomorrow. But then it starts to get warmer again into Friday and the weekend, where we'll get into about the mid-20s.
Ryan and Lisa are ready when you are.
Good morning.
Day or night, find the highlights under latest audio at CFAX1070.com and on the free iHeartRadio app.
World Elder Abuse Awareness Day has unfolded across BC, and we're talking about it with Dan Levitt. He's BC's seniors advocate, and he's here on the line with us. Hello, sir. How you doing?
Good morning, Ryan.
Great to talk to you. It's an important issue, and we were kind of trying to turn our attention to it yesterday during World Elder Abuse Awareness Day. What's this day all about, and what did we do for it here in BC?
Well, the United Nations designated June 15th as World Elder Abuse Awareness Day back in 2011. And since its inception, communities around the world have used the date as an opportunity to raise awareness of elder abuse and neglect of older persons by sharing information about the rights of older people and promoting resources and services to support seniors to be safe and ensure their well-being.
And for here in BC, what kind of message were you focusing on this
Well, unfortunately, elder abuse continues to be an issue in BC. Our most recent monitoring report outlines data from many sources, and the increasing trend for many types of abuse are extremely concerning. It's important that we recognize elder abuse and report both suspicious and confirmed instances, and to stay informed of evolving and sophisticated fraud and scams in order to protect the most vulnerable people in our province. And in the past year, we've been traveling the province and working with our partners, like the Seniors Elder Abuse Awareness and Information Line, SAIL. We've been working with them and visiting a number of communities in the province. And we visited a community in Hope, an Indigenous community. And an elder got up and told a fraud story that was so heartbreaking, where she was widowed and was looking for companionship, and this fraudster basically robbed her of $60,000 and broke her heart and led to a heart attack. And she came out and told her story publicly in BC. And it's just heartbreaking. But those stories are real, and those stories, unfortunately, are happening too often in our province.
And you've just kind of focused in on fraud and scams, so that's certainly a form of abuse. And, sometimes when you think abuse, you're thinking more physical, I think. But, there's other ways that this could play out, like you just mentioned.
Yeah, so elder abuse can be any act that causes harm to an older person. It can be carried out by someone that they know and trust, such as a family member or friend, which is probably some of the most heartbreaking cases we hear about. But it may be physical, it could be emotional, psychological, sexual, financial, and it can include mistreatment, neglect, and self-neglect. So anyone experiencing or concerned about abuse, neglect, and self-neglect or exploitation of a senior is encouraged to contact the Seniors Abuse and Information Line, SAIL, their health authority, the RCMP, the police, our office, the Office of the Seniors Advocate or their local community response network to get support to report out that abuse and get the support they need.
Dan, that's got to be the most heartbreaking aspect of your job, hearing these stories over and over again and knowing that if we could just get the right message out, it would be preventable, or at least, a better attempt at it. Do we need to keep cultivating that message to reach seniors more?
Well, absolutely. And our office is raising awareness by working with the Attorney General and the Ministry of Health, as well as Seniors First BC, the BC Community Response Networks, to recognize World Elder Abuse Awareness Day and highlight the importance of addressing mistreatment of older adults. Our office tracks and reports annually on instances of elder abuse in BC, reported from those designated agencies, the RCMP, the Seniors Abuse and Information Line, the Vancouver Police Department, and other agencies. To reduce elder abuse, it's important to better understand how and why and when it occurs so we can better support seniors, as well as streamline reporting systems. Currently, many organizations and law enforcement agencies are doing similar work, which makes tracking and addressing elder abuse difficult. So my office is working with the provincial government to improve data collection and reporting of elder abuse in BC with the aim of strengthening prevention efforts and better protecting vulnerable seniors.
What do you think how do you get that message across? How do you tweak your message? Because we have, 2,700 cases that we're aware of? That was the latest numbers that came out the other day. So how do you tweak your message that seniors don't fall prey?
Well, one of the biggest challenges right now is when we look at the systemic nature of seniors' abuse and neglect. We issued a report back in 2021, and our report indicated that 28% of British Columbians report witnessing seniors' abuse and neglect, but less than half reported because they didn't know who to call. That report found the reporting system is fragmented with many options for a person to report a concern of seniors' abuse, neglect, or self-neglect, but the fragmented system still exists. So we're working with the government to have a centralized number so seniors can call that one number, kind of like we do for reporting child protection concerns. And we also recommended that a centralized tracking and reporting system to better understand patterns over time so we can better intervene. And so far, government hasn't yet acted, but we are in conversations with them to push that agenda forward to make sure it's much easier to report and to get the help you need.
Real quick, because we're just about out of time, but we got Dan Levitt here. He's BC Seniors Advocate, and it was the Awareness Day yesterday. Final moments, just what to look for, either for yourself or your loved ones. What should you watch for?
Yeah, so look for changes of behavior. If someone's less social, maybe if you're aware of their bank account, maybe changes in how they're investing money, or the bank account is lower, they're no longer able to spend money, and they don't seem themselves. That's when you want to have that honest conversation with them and find out how they're doing. And often people are embarrassed because no one wants to be tricked or frauded. And if it happens, they need support and know that they're not alone and that it's okay to report it and get help.
Dan Levitt, BC Seniors Advocate, thanks for joining us today.
Anytime.
All right, there we go. Following up on World Elder Abuse Awareness Day, which was yesterday, an important thing. And we've got our news poll question. Do you know a senior who faced abuse? It's, I think, quite a high number. 1/3 of respondents in some way are responding positively that they, yes, have, in fact, either been that senior or have known a senior. That's a full 1/3 of our respondents so far on our website, CFAX1070.com. We'll take a break. 7 o'clock news is next.
CFAX Victoria.
An iHeart radio station. If it's happening,
It's here.
CFAX 1070.
Good morning, 7 o'clock on Tuesday, June 16th. A little breezy today, a little cooler than the last few days. We'll only see a high of about 21 and feeling cooler by the windy Juan de Fuca Strait. Full forecast to come right now. The news begins. And we say good morning to Lisa Best.
Good morning. Thank you. As promised or warned, work on the Point Ellis Bay Street Bridge continues for the underpinnings, but no more full closures during the day. So it's tonight, tomorrow night, and Thursday. The span will completely close between 7 p.m. and 7 a.m. So overnight, the intersection at Bay and Tai will also be affected. That will be closed overnight tonight and tomorrow. So just be aware. An update on Canada's oldest Chinese temple extensively damaged by fire yesterday. Vic Fire crews called to Tam Kung Temple at 1713 Government around 2:45 yesterday afternoon. They had reports of smoke pouring out from the roof of the building. Crews did fast work on the flames, which apparently sparked on the third floor where the temple is located. But CTV Vancouver Island reports there is extensive smoke and water damage throughout all 3 floors of the building, including the businesses on the main floor. The Tam Kung Temple recently underwent renovations a year ago. It is one of Victoria's most significant heritage landmarks, recognized as a National Historic Site in Canada. A couple of reasons for that 6-hour-long BC hydro power outage that affected more than 4,400 homes and businesses last night in Highlands and Langford. It was between 7 and 1 a.m. Some lost power due to equipment failure. The other outage that also stretched into View Royal was caused by a tree down on wires. So wind may have been a culprit in that case. Winds are expected to pick up today, so we may have more power outages in the future, short future. Another BC hydro outage affecting more than 1,700 people in the Duncan area. That was between 8 and 11 last night, was due to equipment failure. The BC government is looking to dust off plans for another multi-billion-dollar dam on the Peace River after the Site C project generated opposition and cost overruns. Energy Minister Adrian Dix says that the province is seriously re-examining the plan for what's known as the Site E Dam at the confluence of the Peace and Elsis River to meet the growing demand for electricity and power in this province. The Site E Dam was originally proposed back in 1958, along with 4 other Peace River sites, including the recently completed Site C project, which is now known as the John Horgan Dam. Dick says the government is also looking at technical details to build a large hydroelectricity project at the head of Butte Inlet, northeast of Powell River. He says this isn't an announcement that the projects will actually go ahead. Instead, it's technical work that will determine whether the 2 projects can or actually should proceed. A Vancouver Island MP says he's pleased with the federal government moving forward with that national food security strategy. Courtney Alberni MP Gord Johns wants safeguards against big grocery pricing.
Obviously, we want to make sure that there's a code of conduct when it comes to ensuring people know what they're getting, dealing with shrinkflation, that kind of thing, and of course an excess profit tax on the big grocers, so that money can go and flow to creating supports for local producers and farmers. And we want to make sure that that there's not the predatory pricing that we've been talking about and calling on the government to address.
John says establishing food hubs in both the East and West could be important steps for a producer, ensuring products get to market in a timely fashion. Food inflation has continued to outpace overall inflation in recent years. The Bank of Canada reports that in February, grocery prices have risen roughly 22% in the past 4 years, while other consumer prices have gone up about half that, 13% on average. And a couple of rugs essential to the plot of the movie The Big Lebowski, that sleeper hit, will soon be up for auction. The Hollywood Entertainment Signature Auction, presented by Heritage Auction, announcing a number of items to go on the block next month, mid-July, including 2 rugs. One belongs to Jeff Bridges' character, the Dude, that is soiled and at the beginning of the 1998 film, while the other is one he takes from his wealthy namesake.
This was yeah, man, it really tied the room together. So this was a valued...
Tied the room together, dude?
My rug. Were you listening to the Dude's story, Donnie?
Walter?
Were you listening to the Dude's story?
I was bowling.
Such a film. Bidding on those rugs is reserved at $15,000 US a piece. So that'd be your starting price. They're on auction July 15th, stains and all. And that's your news to 7:05.
This aggression will not stand, man.
It's just, you never know what's going to happen with a film when you release it. You know, it's like letting a child out into the world. They thought the same of The Matrix. They didn't think that was going to be a hit either. And here we are.
I have been endlessly quoting
Yeah?
The Big Lebowski with my friends since the 90s.
Really? It is the coolest film.
Nice marmot.
Yeah. Case in point.
Sorry. I'm done now.
Your CFAX 1070 news poll question this morning. We're asking you, since yesterday marked Senior Abuse Awareness Day, do you know a senior who actually faced abuse? 9% say they have personally. 23% say no, they know someone, and 68% say no. You can vote at CFAX1070.com or in the iHeartRadio app. And Lisa, best your news time is 7:07.
Thank you, Lisa. It is going to be a mix of sun and cloud today. We've got some sort of coastal mist out there as part of the forecast, too, at least for kind of like the West Shore area, seeing a bit of that. It's going to be cooler, though, today and windy. That's sort of the thing to watch out for. We'll get you a full forecast in a moment. And a texter at 71010 just slipped on in here to say, the dude abides. I got you all doing Big Lebowski quotes now.
A lot of people have that T-shirt.
Love it. All right, let's get to the sports. Let's start with the World Cup of Soccer, where after their FIFA World Cup quest opened with a 1-1 draw against Bosnia-Herzegovina last week, Canada is looking ahead to its next matchup. The co-host nation will face Qatar in Vancouver Thursday. Midfielder Ali Ahmed says the national squad is not looking too closely at the standings heading into their second game of the tournament.
One game at a time. And I think, to bounce back and use some momentum that we had from the second half of Bosnia, just go in and try and replicate that second half against Qatar and get 3 points there, and then we can, start talking and looking about whatever amount of points we need to try and top the group so we can stay in Vancouver.
All right, so he says he's not looking too closely at the standings, but I would like to look at the standings. So here you go. Each team in Canada's Group B enters their second group stage match with a single point because everybody had a draw in this group. So that's how things are going. Totally even as we get into the second games. Group play today in the World Cup. We'll see I and J. Those are the groups that will be kicking off their World Cup. 4 matches scheduled. France plays Senegal. Iraq plays Norway. We'll see Argentina and Algeria square off, and Austria and Jordan will all meet. And there's a bit of drama last night with the Iranian team. There was always a bit of a wonder how's it going to go with, the United States and Iran literally fighting a war, and then Iranian players in the States for the tournament. Well, there was a bit of a thing yesterday. So the coach of Iran's World Cup team says his squad was ordered to leave the U.S. and return to its training base in Mexico only a few hours after its opening game, which was played in the United States, Inglewood, California. It was a 2-2 draw with New Zealand. That was the game. They were expecting to spend the night in California before returning, but instead, the coach says they were ordered to leave right away. He didn't mention who ordered the team to leave, but that's a bit of the story from last night. Now, a quick look at some other sports. Toronto Blue Jays open a 3-game set in Boston tonight, aiming to snap a 2-game losing streak against the last-place Boston Red Sox. For Victoria baseball, the Harbour Cats are starting a 3-game series against the Redmond Dudes. Speaking of dudes, it's all tying together today. with this dude talk. So Redmond dudes are in town for local baseball. And there you go. That's your CFAX 1070 Sports. Other than this text message you got here, good morning, Ryan and Lisa. I've been texting you about the Junior Shamrocks games, and I thought I'd mention they won a pair of games over the weekend, and they will be back in action today, 5:30 at the Q Center against the Delta Islanders. Go Rocks, says the texter. Perfect. 5:30 tonight, Junior Rocks. Watch out for that. CFAX 1070 traffic and weather. By the way, the whole morning show is brought to you by Thrifty Foods. The first 200 kids who go to their Thrifties this Saturday from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. and that they're age 12 and under, those kids will get to decorate a free brownie for Dad at all locations because it's Father's Day this weekend. Okay, on the roads, no crashes or accidents. It's been pretty smooth that way. If you see anything, though, let me know at 7:10:10. But yeah, all the major routes are looking pretty clear as of this morning, except for all the construction. We've been talking about all the construction. So ongoing road closures at Government between Pembroke and Discovery. That's just been going on forever, but that's happening again. We've got those closures this week. Cook Street, Pandora to Mason. That's going to be all this week as well. This is a full closure. Cook Street completely locked down there. And then a little further up Cook Street, we've got the full southbound closure from Hillside to Bay. So you can't go southbound as they pour the concrete for the bike lanes there. And then we got the gas main work, Caledonia, kind of around Cook Quadra there. That's going on. We've got a Vancouver road closure, which is new for today. That's going to be around about Caledonia as well. So watch out for all of these things. This is big, busy road work time as we hit the summer months. Other than what's going on the roads, let's take a look at the weather forecast. It's going to be mainly sunny today. We got gusts of wind up to 80 kilometers an hour off the Juan de Fuca Strait. Highs of 21, but cooler by the water. Bit of ocean mist sort of blown in for parts of the West Shore today as well. That's been a feature for the forecast. Then tonight, a few clouds, lows down to 12, still breezy. Tomorrow, mainly sunny, highs of 16, cooler by the water. Thursday, sunny, highs of 24, cooler by the water. Friday, sunny, highs of 23, cooler by the water. And the weekend stays sunny with temperatures in about the mid to low 20s. Right now at the Victoria International Airport, Victoria's official temperature is still 17 degrees. But if you're in Oak Bay by the water, it's a little cooler. It is 14. Okay, let's get to a first look at North American stock markets for the moment. We've got S&P TSX up 161 after yesterday hitting a new record high, crossing that 35,000 level. So right now it's at 35,437. The Dow in New York is up 207 to 51,879. The Nasdaq is up 84 to 26,768. Canadian dollar at 71.4 cents US.
Ryan and Lisa, mornings on CFAX 1070.
Yesterday, a lot of commotion around Chinatown in Victoria as a fire struck a historic building. This is the Tam Kung Temple, kind of Government Street, right by where, QV's is located. It's very close to the gates of Chinatown. And the fire crews were out there trying to deal with this at this National Historic Site. Fire at the temple, Lisa.
Yeah, this is really quite heartbreaking. We don't know the extent of damage, but they did say it was extensive. They did say they fought it, the fire from the roof at some point. They did say it did start on the third floor, which is the temple floor. Now, the temple recently underwent renovations. It actually won a contest, came runner-up in Canada for heritage buildings, receiving money to do upgrades. So I think they won $10,000 to do some upgrades. I don't know if that involved electrical, which may have sparked a problem. I have no reason for the fire yet. It's still being investigated, but The candles are burned in the temple. Maybe that have played a part.
Yeah.
We don't know, but it's just so unfortunate because this is the oldest Chinese temple in Canada.
1912 is when this building was constructed.
Wow.
Yeah. So fire there. One other thing I didn't catch this myself, although I started to think maybe I did, but I was hearing from people in the area and downwind of it that it smelled like incense. So you smell.
Well, it would, because that would burn. I mean, there would be incense in the temple, and that creates quite a pungent smell.
Yeah. So instead of smelling, oh my gosh, it smells horrible, it smells like a big fire burning somewhere. Instead, it was like it weirdly smelled nice, like this nice incense smell,
cold comfort,
wafting far away from Victoria. I started to think I could smell it. I was like, I think I can kind of smell a little bit of incense in the air, and I was pretty far away, but. Anyways, we'll continue to see how that develops. But if you're wondering why it smelled like incense and why there was such a commotion downtown yesterday in the afternoon, there was this fire at this temple right near the gates of Chinatown, the Tam Kung Temple on Government Street. It's also the same building that has Smoking Lily. It's a T-shirt shop, right?
Yeah,
There's that there.
That's popular.
There's other things I think there's some residents. There's a whole bunch of stuff going on in this historic building. So we'll let you know what happens there as they'll continue to look into what happened. Right now, 7:16, over to the headlines. What else is going on, Lisa?
Some sailors from CFB Esquimalt hitting the waves. They're bound for a maritime exercise off the coast of Hawaii. HMCS Ottawa, Regina, and HMC Submarine Corner Brook left today to participate in the Rim of the Pacific for a month-long exercise beginning June 24th. Throughout the exercise, our sailors and aircrew will participate in coordinated anti-submarine warfare, that is, activities, looking alongside allied and partnership ships and aircrafts to locate and track submarines in the areas. The U.S. president said he believes a deal between the U.S. and Iran can hold even if Israel continues its attacks in Lebanon. The president shared the comments while speaking from the G7 in France today, but he rejected the loss of innocent lives. His comments come as tensions with Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu rise due to the continued attacks in Lebanon. And new research shows a completely sugar-free diet may actually cause unintended health consequences. A study done involving an experiment with mice shows eliminating sugar completely can actually disrupt gut health and promote inflammation and metabolic dysfunction. New research from an institute in Kuwait was recently presented at an annual meeting in Chicago, the Endocrine Society. The lead author of the study highlights the importance of maintaining balanced dietary carbohydrates to support gut and immune homeostasis. That is your news to 718.
Thank you, Lisa. Jazz Fest, the TD Victoria International Jazz Fest, kicks off this Friday, and then you get a whole week, 2 weekends of great music coming to Victoria. We're going to find out more about it. We got one of the organizers joining us in just a moment, and we'll also tell you how you can win tickets. CFAX traffic and weather. By the way, the whole morning show is brought to you by Bluebird Cabs. Need a cab? Download the new Bluebird Cabs app at Bluebird Cabs Ltd. They're proudly local and Canadian owned and run since 1946. Still no crashes or accidents on the roads. We've got pretty much smooth sailing, other than all the construction. We've been talking about the construction. I'm just looking at a texture here at 7:10:10 saying, "Good morning, Ryan and Lisa. Just wondering why road construction cannot be done in the evenings when there are a few cars running. Nowadays, it's so difficult to navigate the streets of Victoria." Yeah, we got a lot of obstructions on both Cook Street, various spots, Vancouver, various spots. So there's north-south routes. So we got government that closure at times on Pembroke. So like trying to go in and out of town, north-south, it's like every single route is compromised somehow right now.
Funny, right? We got an issue with north-south. But they say in many of these cases it's a safety reason.
For the overnight stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They have to have daylight to work.
Yeah. Well, there you go. That's what's going on today. Lots of road work in the city. And then overnight, speaking of overnight work, they are doing overnight work on the Bay Street Bridge, 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. tonight, and then tomorrow night, and then the night after. So those are going to be a thing to watch out for as well. The weather forecast, mainly sunny today. We've got wind off the water, gusty conditions off the Juan de Fuca Strait for this morning and early afternoon, up to 80 kilometers an hour. Highs of 21, cooler by the water. So just overall, a lot cooler than the last few days. We're seeing that kind of heat wave go away. A few clouds tonight, lows to 12. Mainly sunny tomorrow, highs of 21. But again, cooler by the water.
The best way to start an island morning. Ryan and Lisa on CFAX 1070.
We're almost at the TD Victoria International Jazz Fest. It's kicking off this Friday, and then it goes for 10 days at various venues around town. And we want to find out more and also tell you how you can win tickets right here on CFAX all this week to get you ready for it, including tickets to the opening night on Friday. But anyways, Here's Kristen Binley with Jazz Fest, communications coordinator and programming assistant, joining us on the line. Hello, how are you?
I'm good, Ryan. How are you?
I'm doing all right. So for you and all the folks at Jazz Fest, what's it like right now? Because, I mean, we're a couple of days away from this thing opening up. Is this like crunch time? How's it feeling right now?
Oh, it's definitely crunch time. We're all gearing up. The office is very hectic right now. We're making sure we've got all our ducks in a row. Just making sure all our schedules are ready to go and everyone's sorted and happy and all our volunteers are scheduled and that we're going to have a really great festival this year.
Excellent. And this is such a tradition in Victoria. How many years has this been going now?
This will be its 42nd anniversary this year.
Wow.
Yeah.
42nd years. And it's sort of evolved over time and it's been taking place at different places over time. Talk about how this year looks.
Yeah, so it's running from June 19th to 28th, usually the last week of June every year. We've got our headliners at the Royal Theatre. So we've got like MEB, Beat Trio, Coco Roco, and Pink Martini. And then we've got our more intimate shows at the club venues and our presentation series at Studio 919, Dakota and Encore, and then we've got a bunch of outdoor performances all around town. Beacon Hill Park starting the first weekend off, and then some pop-ups, some free workshops, and then closing the evening in Esquimalt Bullen Park with free and ticketed performances.
And that's been for a few years now. You've sort of expanded into Esquimalt to Bullen Park, which is a wonderful outdoor. It's out in the field. You get a big stage set up. That's been a neat thing to see happening for the last few years.
Oh, yeah. It's been my favorite change since working with the festival. I think the current artistic director, Daryl Marr, made a really good choice in taking that venue since 2022 after the pandemic hit. And it's been a really, really good danceable venue with a lot of space, a lot of good times, a lot of good live music.
Kristen, why is it important to have a variety of venues for fans to engage with artists?
Well, Jazz Fest is definitely an international festival. We want to really highlight the scope of the festival. So having a lot of venues helps with, making it more of a discovery festival. So if you're going from, around downtown Victoria or in Esquimalt and you just run into a venue and you see that Jazz Fest is going on and it's band from another country. That is kind of the goal. We want to introduce so many different acts from all over, whether they're local or if they're from Hungary or if they're from the USA, anything. Then it's just, it's a discovery festival. So we want people to make the most of that.
Oh, that's so cool. And it's going to be hard to mention all the different things that are happening because there's, like I said, 10 days of this. It's not just 10 nights of it. It's 10 days and nights of music, of workshops, of everything. But if you had to, I don't know, I'm going to put you on the spot. Are there some big kind of headlining moments that you'd like to highlight here?
Yeah, there are definitely a couple that stand out. One is definitely going to be opening night. That's from MEB, which is the 9-member band that's endorsed by the Miles Davis estate. It's the Miles Electric Band, and they're playing music from Miles Davis Electric period. It's led by the drummer Vince Wilburn Jr., who is Miles Davis' nephew and has the Rolling Stones' current touring bassist, Daryl Jones. It's going to be a lot of fun, so I would definitely check that out.
Oh, and can I tell you, by the way, Miles Electric Band, MEB, which is opening night Friday, we're going to give away tickets to that today. Right here on the show. We're going to give one lucky listener a chance to go. But here, can I tell you, Kristen, how we're going to do it? Okay. Are you? Sorry.
Maybe we should have Kristen do it too.
No. I promised her. Okay. I promised Kristen I would not make her do it.
Okay, fair enough.
Okay, so what we're gonna do is right after the 8 o'clock news, sports, weather, traffic, all that stuff. We're gonna have you call in at 250-386-1161, and we'll take a random caller, but we're gonna make them do something that is, this is the jazz festival. There's a jazz thing that sometimes you see vocalists do, and that's a thing called scatting. Which is actually, Kristen, instead of me trying to explain it, this is Burton Cummings in a Guess Who song, giving you an example of scatting. She's come undone. You just kind of, there's no words. You just sort of like doing vocal melodies or whatever. Skiddly bop bop bop, that kind of stuff, just you got to give us some scat.
Ella Fitzgerald style.
Yeah, exactly. That's how you're going to win the tickets. So you got to call in and scat for at least a few seconds. That's all you got to do, and we'll give you the tickets. And today, the tickets, Kristen, is for the Miles Electric Band. You mentioned it's one of the big highlights. It's kicking things off at the Royal Theatre at 7:30. But of course, you can buy tickets to it because tickets are all on sale now. How do people get tickets to any of this stuff?
You can find everything at jazzvictoria.ca. We do sell those theater shows through the rmts.bc.ca, but it'll just be easier if I say jazzvictoria.ca because that will lead you to all the proper links to buy tickets.
Amazing. Well, hey, congratulations on another, it hasn't happened yet, but what I'm assuming is going to be another wonderful TD Victoria International Jazz Fest. Thanks for all you do and all the folks there at the Society who put this on. That's Kristen Binley. Anything else to add? Final word to you.
Just go out and enjoy a show and find something that you've never heard of before and check it out.
All right. Cheers. Well, we'll talk again soon.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right. We'll make room for the 7:30 news next. But yeah, stand by. Your chance to win 4 tickets. By the way, I didn't mention that. It's a 4-pack of tickets to go to that show. That'll be coming up later.
From CFAX 1070.
Here's what's happening around the island.
Until June 27th, you can lock in for love with the BC SPCA Victoria and raise money to help injured, homeless, and vulnerable animals right here in Victoria. Until July 19th, downtown Victoria is alive with free soccer-themed events, live match screenings, and more. Details at downtownvictoria.ca.
Get more event info at CFAX1070.com.
If it's happening, it's here.
CFAX 1070.
CFAX Victoria.
An iHeart radio station. If it's happening,
It's here.
CFAX 1070.
7:31 on Tuesday, June 16th. We're looking at a mix of sun and cloud, windy conditions, and cooler for sure than the last few days. Full forecast to come. Right now, the news begins, and here is Lisa Best.
Now, with those winds, we could be in for a few more power outages. There was a major one yesterday in Highlands and Langford throughout the evening until 1 a.m. Over 4,400 homes and businesses affected by that power outage. Apparently, it was due to equipment failure. The other one that stretched into View Royal was caused by a tree on wires, so the culprit may have been wind in that case. Another BC Hydro outage up island, affecting more than 1,700 customers in the Duncan area. That was between 8 and 11. Power finally came back on later that evening. That one also due to equipment failure. An update on Canada's oldest Chinese temple extensively damaged by fire yesterday. Vic fire crews were called to Tam Kung Temple on Government Street in the core around 2:45 yesterday afternoon. There's reports of smoke pouring out of the roof for the building. Firefighters ended up attacking that fire that started on the third floor where the temple is located. But apparently there's extensive smoke and water damage throughout all floors of the building, including the businesses on the main floor. That temple is one of Victoria's most significant heritage landmarks. It's actually recognized as a National Historic Site in Canada, and it was given $10,000. It won in a contest last year for needed renovations. Environment Canada had issued a coastal flood warning statement for the Greater Victoria coastline. It covered the area from Cordova Bay to East Zug until early this morning. Forecasters say it was the high tides coupled with strong westerly winds that the potential produce high water levels. So just keep a watch on the water moving forward. Coastal flooding, of course, possible along exposed shorelines depending on the tides and the winds blowing. A school field trip going sideways at a water park in Chilliwack yesterday. A dozen students ended up in hospital after a mild electrocution incident. The park officials say the children were hurt while waiting in line to go to a ride. Apparently, they touched the railing.
There's a queuing area at the bottom of that ride with railing, and that when they made contact with there, that's where the incident occurred. It appears to be electrical. We want to get to the bottom of it and eliminate any future question marks, any future concerns about this.
No doubt. RCMP say the grade 6 and 7 students were all in stable condition in hospital after initially suffering serious but non-life-threatening injuries. A peace deal will be a major point of discussion is right now among G7 leaders who are gathered for the second day of meetings in France. But trade and U.S. tariffs remains the other hot potato.
Les tarifs, ça fait du bien à personne.
Tariffs do no one any good, especially between G7 countries, Macron said.
Canada has that same message for the U.S., but Carney isn't planning to bring it up with Trump. He told reporters those discussions will be held on the sidelines of this summit between the Minister of Canada-U.S. Trade, Dominic LeBlanc, and U.S. Trade Representative Jamieson Greer. Mike Lecouteur, CTV News, Evian, France.
It says the U.S. president continues to tout his agreement with Iran while meeting with the leaders in France.
Iran's foreign minister saying ending the war cannot happen unless Israeli forces leave Lebanon. The president making it clear he's not happy with Israel.
They should have been able to do the job faster. It just goes on forever. And when that happens, it throws a negative light on the big deal, and that's the deal with Iran.
Senior administration officials say the deal broadly reopens the Strait of Hormuz and lifts the U.S. blockade on Iranian ports.
And we're learning that ABC News is uncovering a foiled plot to attack the UFC matches over the weekend on the lawn of the White House in Washington, D.C.
FBI Director Kash Patel, in a statement released to ABC News, said, on June 10th, FBI and our law enforcement partners became aware of a potential threat to the UFC 250 event in Washington, D.C., involving individuals outside the national capital region. The investigation so far involves individuals in Ohio, Missouri, California, and Nebraska.
More to come on that. And that's your news to 7:35. Your CFAX 1070 news poll question this morning. We're asking if you know a senior who has faced abuse. 9% are saying yes, they have personally. 23% know somebody. 68% have not. You can vote now at CFAX1070.com, also on the iHeartRadio app. And Lisa, best your news time is 7:37.
Thank you, Lisa. We've got a mix of sun and cloud coming at us today, but mostly sunny, although we're seeing this kind of low mist off of the water, which is occasionally drifting inland. If you are experiencing some of that, this cool kind of wet mist that's coming over. We've had a few listeners mention that today, but otherwise it's going to be mainly sunny. We got a lot of wind off the Juan de Fuca Strait, and we'll see highs of 21 degrees eventually. Full forecast to come. Right now, over to CFAX 1070 Sports, talking World Cup soccer. Let's start with the Team Canada preparations. They're in Vancouver now. They're getting ready for their Thursday matchup against Qatar. And after their FIFA World Cup quest opened with a 1-1 draw against Bosnia-Herzegovina last week, Canada is looking ahead to what's going to come on Thursday. Defender Joel Waterman says they want to top the group if they can.
The focus has never changed for us, so obviously it's a big game on Thursday to beat Qatar, and then we've got to try and beat Switzerland as well. We're going to try and pick up the 6 points and go on to the next round.
Now, it's kind of funny how every team in this group opened with a draw. So everybody's even. Everyone's played a game. Everyone's even at a single point each. Switzerland and Qatar finished with a 1-1 draw themselves back on Sunday. So that's what's happening on Thursday, looking ahead to Team Canada's next match in Vancouver. But we also have teams in groups I and J kicking off their World Cups today. So here's the schedule. We will see France play Senegal first, then Iraq plays Norway, then Argentina and Algeria square off, and then Austria and Jordan will meet. So that's all coming up for the World Cup. And then for the baseball, Victoria Harper Cats will play the Redmond Dudes today. It's a 3-game set against those teams opening up today. Toronto Blue Jays also opening up a 3-game series in Boston tonight, looking to snap their 2-game losing streak as they take on the last place Red Sox. And as a listener pointed out to us earlier, and thanks so much for texting us at 71010, good morning, Ryan and Lisa. The Victoria Junior Shamrocks will be playing again today at 5:30 Q Center against the Delta Islanders. So there's another local thing to take in tonight, and that is your sports to 7:39. CFAX at 70 traffic and weather. It is 7:40, and we have no crashes or accidents, just a lot of road work for Greater Victoria today. A bunch of stuff is on this week. I'll just remind you of some of those spots to watch out for again today. Full southbound closure on Cook Street from Hillside to Bay as they pour the concrete for the bike lanes at that location. Also starting up today, watch out for a road closure which will be affecting Vancouver Street from Johnson to Pandora. Fortis utility work is going on there. That's going to start at 9, so that's still flowing right now, but it's 9. That will be one of the things going on. And for the Bay Street Bridge, overnight closure coming tonight, and for the next it's 3 nights of closures, 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. Bay Street Bridge. But otherwise, it is open again. It opened up a little while ago. The eastbound lane closure that they had on for a while there has lifted during the day. Daytime, you can go both directions on the Bay Street Bridge again. Just overnight for the next 3 nights, another closure coming at you as they do some more of that work. For the weather forecast today, it is mainly sunny, highs of 21 degrees, but cooler by the water where the wind blows. And yes, we will see a lot of wind blowing. It's gusts up to 80 kilometers an hour off the Juan de Fuca Strait for today. A few clouds tonight, lows to 12, still windy, and then mainly sunny tomorrow with a high of 21, but cooler by the water. Thursday, Friday, it's going to be sunny again with temperatures creeping back up towards the mid-20s if you're inland. Not by the water, where it'll still be in the teens. And then the weekend is looking sunny with temperatures in the low to mid-teens. Sorry, low to mid-20s, I mean to say. Kind of staying fairly even for the temperatures. It's not going to be quite as warm as it was the last few days. Maybe not quite the same level of humidity, but still sunny and warm for the next 7 days straight. On the markets, we're seeing things still making some gains. After yesterday, we saw the S&P TSX hit a new record. It got over 35,000 for the first time, and we're still there. We're up 75 points on the day at the S&P TSX, up to 35,351. In New York, the Dow is up 334 to 52,005. NASDAQ is down 42 to 26,641. Canadian dollar at 71.4 cents U.S., which is just down a slight fraction from yesterday. And the barrel of oil. Let's talk about the barrel of oil. It's at $77.40 U.S. a barrel, which is continuing to slide. It's down another $3.35 over yesterday.
Let's get started.
Start your day informed and entertained. Ryan and Lisa, mornings on CFAX 1070.
Coming up just after the 8 o'clock news, sports, and weather, we're going to give away a 4-pack of tickets to the TD International Jazz Fest right here in Victoria, and we're in specific going to be giving away tickets to the Miles Electric Band. We've got Miles Davis music played by some family members of Miles Davis's original band. The bass player for the Rolling Stones right now. We were just talking to the folks at Jazz Fest, really hyping up the show. We got 4 tickets to give away, but you got to scat for us. Call in 250-386-1161 just after 8. If you're the caller we pick, we're going to make you scat. And as this texter points out, at 7:10:10 just now, another famous person who can scat is one of our own. Pamela Anderson. She did it in the Naked Gun movie with Liam Neeson, and it was her own scatting. That's another great example. I should dig that up. I should dig up a clip of that for for an example, because I was playing Burton Cummings of the Guess Who doing a scat.
Yeah,
and
the classics. Ella Fitzgerald was brilliant at it.
She owns scatting. That's for sure. Anyway,
wasn't it Mac the Knife? She forgot the lyrics,
so just made it up.
Scattered the whole thing. Wild.
Yeah.
It takes talent, and we just want 10 seconds of talent from you.
That's all you got to do.
It's not a lot.
Yeah.
Time for talent. Making it easy.
The nice thing about scatting is you don't really need to know the words, because there are no words.
Make it up.
Just make
your
it up.
Your kids can do it.
Yeah.
Have fun.
Actually, yeah, you could. That could be a way to do it. Just get your kids to make some noise.
We need you to do it.
Oh, okay.
I want
Lisa's
people
setting down the law.
Embrace your. No, I'm just asking you to embrace your childlike creativity and imagination.
That's what it is. Okay, that's coming up after 8 o'clock. Your first chance to win a 4-pack of tickets to Jazz Fest. This time it is the Miles Electric Band. We're going to give away different tickets to different acts all this week, so stay tuned. Also, coming up in a few minutes, we're going to turn our attention to the area around the Cook Street Village and that part of Fairfield. Not far from where you live, Lisa.
Yes.
Have you encountered peacocks recently by any chance?
Yes, I've encountered them.
Yeah?
They haven't been rangy, though.
They're not causing you...
They're not uppity.
Not causing you any trouble?
But, well, I'm not a vehicle.
Aha! This is the thing. It's happening again. We're starting to hear reports from the Cook Street Village, and this is becoming more and more common around this time of year. Peacocks that see their reflection in a shiny vehicle mistake that reflection for another bird and attack it. So
and you're getting a new paint job.
So it just seems like these aggressive peacocks are attacking the cars. But our understanding is they're seeing their reflection, and that's what's going on. And they're in that season where they're kind of getting all, I don't know.
They look at every other male sideways.
Yeah, they're like, hey, you're competition for my
girl.
My girl.
That's right. But it's not just peacocks, and
other birds do
our
it.
expert will expand on this.
Yes.
Other birds too, because my brother-in-law has to cover the side mirrors.
Really?
He has to.
In his car?
Yes. When it's parked at home, and they're up in Saanich up by Cedar Hill Golf Course.
Oh, so it's not peacocks for them. What is it?
It's other. They think they see a rival, and so they attack. So he comes home to feathers and stuff, and tagging and angry words, and from the Angry Birds. And I'm kidding, obviously. But yes, he has to. It's really funny, actually, because he's got T-shirts hanging over the side mirrors. I'm like, what's that about? He's like, the birds are crazy. The birds are crazy right now.
Well, Ann Nightingale is our local bird expert from the Rocky Point Bird Observatory. We love talking to her about birds. And hey, for Cook Street Village, if you're starting to notice the aggressive peacocks starting to act up, well, we'll talk about what's going on there in just a moment. All right now, though. It's 7:46. Time for the headlines with Lisa.
Take it downtown. The Victoria Business Association releasing its latest annual report on the status of the core. The report, based on the business members survey and other reputable sources, found optimism around retail vacancy rates, the number of new business licenses, hotel occupancy rates, and the amount of current development. The downside remains open drug use, the vehicle flow or lack of gridlock, and of course the dearth of parking. The report's findings are similar to the Research Co. survey released last week, of course commissioned by the DVPA. A Port Alberni man has pleaded guilty to injuring or endangering an animal. In this case, it was a dog, a neighbor's dog, that was shot back in February of 23. So we're going back over 3 years now. It got its foot caught in a hole trap that was set for cougars attacking livestock. The BC SPCA investigators found that the dog was not approaching livestock and the trap did not cause significant injuries. That it was the bullet causing instant or near instant death. Michael Stinney has received a conditional discharge, a 12 months probation, a $2,500 fine, and $250 restitution. The judge imposing a victim surcharge of $2,500. This is interesting news south of us. The San Andreas Fault and San Jacinto Fault Zone are at their highest stress level in 1,000 years, apparently. That according to a new study from researchers at the University of Hawaii and Manoa. A study recently published in the Journal of Geophysical Research says the fault lines have reached unprecedented levels. The stress is usually released periodically in major earthquakes or minor, but it continued to build in the past 160 years since the last major rupture in the faults. The study's lead author says the fault system is in a critically loaded state. And that's your news to 7:48.
We're going to talk Fairfield peacocks in just a moment. Also, traffic and weather. Is there a peacock affecting your commute this morning? You can let us know at 7:10:10. Maybe it's in the road. That is another thing. I was seeing some social media pictures of a mom peacock with her pea chicks. I think that's the name.
Peahen.
Peahen with the pea chicks. Crossing the road. Just, use the crosswalk.
Using the crosswalk?
Crossing the road.
They're so civilized.
Some pictures of that going around.
Okay.
It's life in Cook Street Village. We are going to get to that with Ann Nightingale from the Rocky Point Bird Observatory right after traffic and weather. Next.
Developing political story, a big doozy.
Vashi Capellos.
What started as a dull day is anything but.
The top newsmakers.
Your go-to political debrief. Daily. What is really going on?
The breaking news.
Just moments ago.
And the entertaining analysis and debate to follow.
I don't think you can sugarcoat it. It's an issue.
It's not true, guys. Yeah.
Vashi Capellos.
There is a greater plan here.
Vashi Capellos. Weekdays 9 a.m. to 11.
Bigger picture politically, which is
on CFAX 1070.
Oh, hey, the CFAX Morning Show is brought to you by Thrifty Foods, where this Saturday from 10 a.m. until 1 p.m., the first 200 kids aged 12 and under are invited to decorate a free brownie for Dad, because it's Father's Day coming up on Sunday, so you can do it Saturday Be ready for Sunday. This is at all Thrifty Foods locations. Okay, so that's happening at Thrifty's. What's happening on the roads? Well, there's no crashes, no accidents right now. If you see anything, let me know at 7:10:10. The West Shore commute looks very typical for a Tuesday. And we will see a few extra little bits of road work. I'll just mention again that there's all kinds of problems on Cook Street. Full closure, completely closed, both directions. Cook between Pandora and Mason. Then the southbound closure, Cook southbound Hillside to Bay. Then on Vancouver, there's also a closure around about where Vancouver and Pandora meet. So watch out for that too, as road work is just happening everywhere. And for the BC Ferries, no problems right now. 8 o'clock sailing coming up with lots of room left for vehicles. In the weather, it's definitely a change day. We saw all of that hot, muggy warmth in the air from the last few days. It's starting to blow away. We're seeing the wind pick up off the Juan de Fuca Strait, so you can feel it a little cooler, especially if you're near the Juan de Fuca Strait. So we'll see those gusts up to 80 kilometers an hour over the course of the day. The temperature only getting to a high of 21, cooler by the water. And those winds will continue overnight with lows to 12, few clouds. Then it's mainly sunny for the rest of the week. Temperatures in the low to mid-20s all through the rest of the week and into the weekend.
It's all here. News, weather, traffic, and community events. Ryan and Lisa, mornings on CFAX 1070.
Well, the peacocks are attacking the cars near Beacon Hill Park. This happens sometimes in the spring, and it's got people talking around about the Cook Street Village and surrounding neighborhoods. So we're talking about it, too, with Ann Nightingale, longtime volunteer with the Rocky Point Bird Observatory and regular voice here on CFAX. Ann, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you today, Ryan?
I'm doing all right. So have you heard about this? Because I've been hearing these reports. Just people, I know some people who live around Cook Street Village, and they tell me about the peacocks and how much they can be a nuisance around about this time of year. What have you heard?
Yeah, same. I mean, this is an annual event. It is tied to courtship in the spring, and basically, many birds seem to go through this. If they see their reflection, they think it's a competing male. So it is the males that are doing this, right? So they think it's a competitor, and they do their best to scare that competitor off. Now, if it's a little chipping sparrow doing that, you may not even notice. But when it's a peacock with those mighty claws and long spurs, you may have some damage.
It does look a little intimidating as well when they do it.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, these are birds that are used in some areas for fighting, right? They can be ferocious. Most birds are really good and attentive parents, and that usually comes from also mate protection and acquiring a suitable mate. So male birds can be very aggressive when it comes to the spring. The testosterone levels are high.
But you have been hearing as well reports around the Cook Street Village of that.
Absolutely.
The peacocks going after cars. They go after the shiny ones particularly because I guess they got to see the reflection. So if your car's dirty, you're probably okay.
Yeah, actually, it's really true. They're looking at the reflection, and especially the better the reflection looks, the more that competitor looks like someone that they've got to defeat. So chrome and people have noticed shiny black cars, they seem to give a bit of a better reflection. So you'll notice that the worst, ugliest, dirtiest cars in Cook Street Village are not getting attacked by peacocks.
So the trick is don't wash your car. Just don't wash your car. Okay.
The really expensive, shiny ones. Those are the ones that are getting attacked.
Yeah, it just doesn't bode well for all the beautiful vintage cars we have around town.
Yeah.
Well, Cook Street Village is probably the worst place to be parking those during peacock season, except possibly with the exception of Hatley Park, because there's a lot of peacocks there as well. And I used to work at Royal Roads University, and we would see that every spring as well. And you don't want to interrupt, right? Like when they're in fight mode, I wouldn't step between a male and a fancy car. I'm sorry.
Wow. My brother-in-law has a black SUV, and the windows of it are being attacked. Or sorry, the side mirrors are being attacked by smaller birds.
Yes, exactly. I have also returned to my car and found a spotted towhee or a junco fighting with the mirrors. on a regular basis. People report to me in the spring all the time that robins are attacking their ground level windows, or even higher. I had a friend that had a robin attacking a window on the second story, and she came up with a really innovative use for helium balloons. She couldn't reach the window to cover it so that the bird couldn't see its reflection. So she got a couple of helium balloons on very long strings and tied them so they were in front of that window, and the bird moved on.
Oh, interesting. Kind of scared them away.
Well, it didn't scare it. It just got rid of the reflection.
Ah, gotcha.
Right? And so there's things people can do if they're having small birds come after their windows, because it's not good for the birds. They waste a lot of energy. Sometimes they'll even fight so hard that they'll bleed. You could soap your windows. You can put some wax paper or saran wrap on the windows temporarily. After a few weeks, the birds will stop doing it. It's a courtship competition springtime phenomenon.
And you mentioned it only lasts a little while. So when does the season typically kind of come to an end?
We'll be coming to the end pretty quickly here. Usually by the end of June, most of the birds have paired up and have their nests. So we're in the downswing of the activity now. But if I had a shiny black car, I would not be parking it in the sunshine, especially in Cook Street Village. I'd park it a couple blocks away. Now, part of the problem is, these peacocks are domestic animals. They're just beautiful chickens, and nobody really claims ownership of them. So that is forming a problem for a number of reasons. I had someone call me yesterday concerned about some of the health of the peacocks in and around Beacon Hill Park. And they aren't actually owned birds, if you know what I mean. Some people acquire them as pets, and then they decide that they don't really like them very much as pets, especially when at 4 o'clock in the morning during the spring they get up and start yelling. You may have heard them in your neighborhood. And so people drop them off at places where there are other peacocks. So you'll see Beacon Hill Park and Royal Roads as key destinations where people just abandon their pets.
Is that why they're there?
How did it start?
Originally peacocks were given as special gifts, usually by royalty or high esteemed people to other royalty or high esteemed people, because they're beautiful, right? Like they're from Asia and they're gorgeous birds, especially the males when they fan those tails out. Just so you know, it's not actually their tail, but that's a technical point.
What is it? Sorry,
They're called upper tail coverts, and on most birds they're very small, but on peafowl they're very large. If you look at the back end of a peacock when it has that fan up, there's still a tail.
Oh, that little fluffy business underneath is actually their tail?
There's the little brown pieces at the back, right? Not the fluffy part, but the brown feathers that stick out the back end when that fan is up. That's the tail.
Wow.
So, and they lose those feathers every June or July. That certainly coincides with the aggression dying down when the males are not in all their glory. But yeah, so they started out as being high esteemed gifts. They are very protective parents, so the population grew. They're so attractive. You can buy them online, right, and have it as a pet. But then a lot of people, just like with turtles, they sort of go, well, that was more than I was bargaining for, and dump them, which is really bad, right? It's bad for your animal. It's bad for wherever they end up getting dumped, and birds appear in the middle of the night, but birds also disappear in the middle of the night when people do such things. So it doesn't mean a good end for your pet if you release it in an area where you shouldn't.
And next thing you know, it's attacking a car in Cook Street Village. We gotta stop you there just because we're out of time. But I just want to read you a couple of quick text messages. One texter says, "There is a little bird lately picking at my side mirror of cars. Weird." Another texter says, "I've had hummingbirds hover in front of my face, looking at the reflection off my sunglasses."
I believe that.
Huh.
For sure.
Interesting. And this texter says, there used to be a chrome Ferrari in Victoria. It's been many years since I've seen it, but I wonder if the owner just got fed up with dealing with the Randy boy birds in the spring.
Maybe.
Oh, wow. And Nightingale, Rocky Point Bird Observatory, thanks for talking birds with us.
Thank you. Bye.
All right, we're late for the news. We'll get to it next, but stand by because right after the news and sports, weather, traffic, business, We're going to give away Jazz Fest tickets, but you got to scat.
CFAX Victoria.
An iHeart radio station. If it's happening,
It's here.
CFAX 1070.
It's 8:03 on this Tuesday, June 16th. Let's get right to the news. And here is Lisa Best.
Thank you. As promised or warned, work on the Point Ellis Bridge, the Bay Street Bridge as we know it, the underpinnings there. Those upgrades continue. A couple more full closures coming this week. It's tonight, tomorrow night, and Thursday. The span will be closed completely again to traffic and pedestrians and cyclists between 7 p.m. and 7 a.m. The intersection of Bay and Taiwo will also be affected, being closed to evenings and overnight tonight and tomorrow. So just make note that it will be open during the day, but closed overnight for the next 3 nights. An update on Canada's oldest Chinese temple extensively damaged by fire yesterday downtown. The Victoria Fire Crews called to 1713 government around 2:45 yesterday afternoon. It was the Tam Kung Temple that caught fire. Reports of smoke coming through the roof of the building on the 3rd floor. Crews made fast work of the flames, but the CTV Vancouver Island is reporting there's extensive smoke damage and water damage throughout all 3 floors of the building, including on the businesses on the main floor. That temple is one of the oldest in Canada. It is recognized as a National Historic Site in Canada. It recently underwent renovations after winning or placing second in a contest for heritage sites and getting money for renovations. A Vancouver Island MP says he's pleased with Ottawa moving forward with the National Food Security Strategy. Courtney Alberni MP Gord Johns wants safeguarding against big grocery price gouging.
Obviously, we want to make sure that there's a code of conduct when it comes to ensuring people know what they're getting, dealing with, shrinkflation, that kind of thing, and of course, an excess profit tax on the big grocers, so that money can go and flow to, creating supports for local producers and farmers, and we want to make sure that that there's not the predatory pricing that we've been talking about and calling on the government to address.
John says establishing food hubs in both the East and West would be important steps for producers in ensuring their product gets to market in a timely fashion as well. Food inflation continues to outpace overall inflation in recent years. The Bank of Canada reported back in February that food and grocery prices have risen roughly 22% in the past 4 years. Other consumer prices have gone up 13% on average. Canada will impose new sanctions against Russia as the war in Ukraine continues. During the meeting at the G7 summit in France today, the Prime Minister says the sanctions are targeting Russia's shadow fleet, energy revenues, defense, industrial, and disinformation actors. Ambassador of Canada to France, And Natalie Drouin calls the decision very positive.
With, recognizing the progress that Ukraine is doing, but also recognizing that we need to continue to support Ukraine in the war they are facing.
Drouin also says Canada is ready to contribute to the Middle East, especially in light of the deal made between the U.S. and Iran. That's your news to 8:06. Your CFAX 1070 news poll question this morning. We're asking, do you know a senior who has faced abuse? About 10% say yes, it was them personally. 23% say they know someone, and the rest say no. You can vote at CFAX1070.com, also on the iHeartRadio app. I'm Lisa Best. Your news time is 8:07.
Thank you, Lisa. Let's take a quick look at the weather. You can expect a cooler day today than the last few days. It's going to be only a high of 21 and a lot cooler if you're by the windy Wanda-Fuka Strait with gusts up to 80 kilometers an hour. It's already quite breezy out there right now. And we have seen a little bit of low ocean fog and mist, particularly out in the Wanda-Fuka Strait. So if you're sort of in one of the parts of Greater Victoria that faces the water, you might see a bit of that mist coming inland. We'll get you the full forecast in just a moment. Right now, over to the CFAX 1070 Sports. We'll start in soccer, where the World Cup continues, and here is your World Cup report.
This is your TSN Radio FIFA World Cup 2026 update.
I'm John Rodenberg. Monday was a day of ties at the World Cup. Island nation Cabo Verde, in its first World Cup, held 2010 champion Spain to a 0-0 draw despite being outshot 27-6.
Cabo Verde with a result of a lifetime.
Egypt held Belgium to a 1-1 tie. Uruguay had 22 second-half shot attempts on Saudi Arabia before netting the tying goal in a 1-1 draw. Iran, to a mix of boos and cheers, began its tournament in Los Angeles and tied New Zealand 2-2. Monday, a day after losing 5-1 to Sweden, Tunisia fired its coach 1 game into its World Cup. Today, France begins its tournament versus Senegal, while defending champion Argentina meets Algeria tonight. Canada was back on the pitch for practice Monday. Alphonso Davies remains in return-to-play protocol. The rest of the Canadian players had no injury designations. Canada will play Qatar on Thursday. You can watch the FIFA World Cup matches on TSN, CTV, Crave, and streaming at tsn.ca. Listen on the TSN Radio Network with all games streaming on the iHeart Radio app.
Well, there you go. And just a quick look at some local stuff. Victoria Harbour Cats baseball. They're opening up a 3-game series today against the Redmond Dudes. And the Victoria Junior Shamrocks in action at the Q Center tonight, 5:30 against the Delta Islanders. That's your sports to 8:09. And here's what's going to happen now. We're going to open up the phone lines at 250-386-1161. That's 250-386-1161. I got 4 tickets to give away to the opening night of Victoria Jazz Fest, which is particularly, I should say specifically, tickets to the Miles Electric Band. They'll be celebrating 100 years of Miles Davis playing his electric era. And there's 4 tickets to this show at the Royal Theatre, but you got to do a scat for me. I'm going to pick a random caller right now at 250-386-1161, and when we get back from the traffic and the weather and the business, if you just give me a little bit of a jazz scat, you'll walk away with the tickets. We're going to do this all this week, so stand by. right, CFAX 1070 traffic and weather. It's 8:11. We're moments away from a lucky listener giving us a jazz scat for tickets. That's coming up. But right now, okay, we've got, let's start with the weather forecast, actually. I want to do that because it's mainly sunny today. It's highs of 21, which is quite a bit cooler than the last few days. And we're out of that mugginess that we were in for the last few days. So it's a big change today. A lot cooler feeling. A lot of wind, too. Gusts up to 80 kilometers an hour off the Juan de Fuca Strait for this morning and into the afternoon. And actually, even overnight, we're going to see some pretty strong winds. A few clouds overnight with lows down to 12. And then tomorrow, mainly sunny skies, highs of 21. Thursday, highs of 24. Friday, highs of 23. It kind of continues like that. And that's going to be through the weekend as well. Sort of those low to mid 20 temperatures. Pretty much sunny right throughout with the odd bit of cloud. But yeah, today and tonight, that's where it's kind of a little unsettled as well, and we're getting that wind with us. That's the weather. Oh, and temperature-wise, I guess, right now, Oak Bay waterfront, we're sitting at 14 degrees. In Brentwood Bay, it's 20 degrees already. So when they kind of get away from the wind, it's still pretty warm out there right now. Now, over to the traffic. Other than a lot of construction-related issues in downtown Victoria, we're not seeing any crashes or accidents, and we're seeing a pretty typical West Shore commute. If you see a problem, you can text me at 71010. On the markets, S&P TSX in Toronto yesterday kind of hit a new record high over 35,000, and we're still up over 35,000 this morning. Actually, we've gained another 40 points on the day to 35,315. The Dow in New York is up 340 to 52,011. NASDAQ is down 91 to 26,592. Canadian dollar at 71.5 cents US. And the barrel of oil is down another $3.60 compared to yesterday at $77.15 US a barrel.
Don't attempt your morning commute without us. Ryan and Lisa, mornings on CFAX 1070.
10 hot days and cool nights of the hottest jazz going with the TD Victoria International Jazz Fest opening up on Friday, then going for 10 days. Venues all across downtown Victoria. The Bullen Park big stage, the outdoor stage in Esquimalt. There's so much going on. And kicking things off on Friday, the Miles Electric Band celebrating 100 years of Miles Davis. I got 4 tickets to give away, but you got to work for it. You got to scat, just like the Jazz Cats do, Lisa.
Very cool. Good idea.
Let's get our first contestant on. We've kind of randomly picked one of the phone lines. Who's this?
This is Gret.
Gret? Oh, you're our first. So you're going to set the bar for everybody here. How do you feel?
I'll do my best.
You're gonna okay. So you know what's going on. You got to do some jazz scatting. Now I'm going to play. I haven't told anybody this. I have a little jazz drum track for you. So
set the mood.
I'm gonna play this, and as soon as you hear the jazz drums, you can just do whatever you want to do. Okay, Gret?
Okay.
Okay, here we go. That's amazing.
Wow. Knock it out of the park first try.
Oh, man. Strong start, Gret. Strong start.
I like the bridge of the La-La.
Yeah.
That was very good.
Really, really, really good. You did exactly what I was hoping was going to happen today, Gret. You just impressed me. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you.
Okay, so you are going with 4 tickets to the Miles Electric Band on Friday at the Royal Theatre. You don't have to wait long for this. So hang on. Hold on the line, but congrats.
Thanks.
Okay, we'll talk.
She's recovering.
Well, we're going to do this all through the week. So if you didn't get in today, don't worry. You got more chances. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we're going to be giving away tickets all this week. All you got to do is scat like the Jazz Cats. Okay, Lisa. Sorry,
that was good.
Yeah, it was really good.
That was better than I expected.
You never know.
Really did us proud.
We're just picking up a random caller, so we don't know what's coming at us. So very impressive.
I'm starting to dig that. Maybe we should get her on stage.
I should have let it go longer.
She'd probably say no.
I wonder how long she would have gone if I didn't stop
I don't know,
it.
because it was good. She had some power there.
What's going on in the news, Lisa?
All right, let's take you to the grocery aisle. A new survey by Interact has found single Canadians are paying more for groceries than those living in shared households. households. A report finds 8 in 10 single Canadians say they can't seem to bring their food bill down no matter what they do or where they shop. Food inflation continues to outpace overall inflation in recent years. The Bank of Canada reported last winter that grocery prices have risen roughly 22% in the past 4 years, while other consumer prices have gone up on average about 13%. Prime Minister Mark Carney spoke with the U.S. President briefly during the G7 summit today in France. The two spoke for a few minutes in what appears to be an intense discussion before the leaders gathered for a working lunch. That lunch was focused on overcoming crises and ensuring stability in the Middle East. University of Toronto G7 Research Group head John Curtin says the summit could yield progress for a number of major themes despite tensions with the U.S. over ongoing tariffs. Talks between Canada and Italy underway about purchasing advanced trainer jets. The Prime Minister met with Italy's Prime Minister today in France. It's unclear how many of the jets they're looking to purchase from Leonardo, which is one of Italy's largest aerospace companies. Canada ordered 6 Italian-made M346 fighter jets earlier this year for a new NATO training center in North Bay, Ontario. Pizza Hut has been sold in a deal worth $1.5 billion. Yum Brands is the new owner, announcing today that the pizza chain is being sold to a private equity firm, Long Range Capital. This comes after Yum said in November that it's looking for options for the struggling pizza chain. In a separate transaction, Pizza Hut's mainland China location are being sold to Yum China for $1.2 billion. Pizza Hut, at its beginnings, was founded in 1958 in Wichita, Kansas, and has almost 20,000 locations around the world. And that is your news to 8:18.
Oh, okay. I got a text message here, Lisa, at 7:10:10. We were talking about the peacocks at Beacon Hill Park.
Yes.
They've been attacking cars that are shiny because they think it's a rival. Anyways, you mentioned, because Anne Nightingale, our bird expert, mentioned that the feathers on a peacock,
The display feathers that the male
they're
puts
not
out?
the tail.
I didn't know that.
And you mentioned, Lisa,
Yes.
that there's still some fluffy business underneath.
She said the tail's underneath, so I said, is that fluffy business when they turn around, you know?
Texter says, thanks, Lisa. I'm going to giggle every time I see the fluffy business on the back end of a bird now. That's from Chris.
You got
Thanks
to
for
call
texting.
it what it is.
I love it. Okay, thank you for joining the conversation as always at 7:10:10. We're going to talk Oak Bay next. You know the area around the Oak Bay Marina? I think Turkey Head is the name of the little spit of land, but the area around the Oak Bay Marina, the future of that area is up for debate, and Oak Bay Council was talking about that last night. We're going to check in with the mayor next. It's time for CFAX traffic and weather. It's 8:21. No crashes or accidents on the roads. You can text me at 71010 if you see something. But the major routes in and out of town are all looking pretty typical for this time of the morning. The West Shore commute's actually looking fairly decent, comparatively speaking. We do have road closures throughout Victoria, though, to watch out for the full closure of Cook Street between Pandora and Mason, the southbound closure from Hillside to Bay because they're pouring the concrete for the bike lanes. There's a closure Vancouver near Pandora. There's the closure on Government Street, southbound near Pembroke. There's road work going on all over the place, so watch out for delays coming in and out of town. For the BC ferries, no sailing waits right now, and for the weather forecast, we've got eventually a high of 21 today. It's about 20 degrees in some parts of Victoria. I'm seeing 19 is the official temperature at the Victoria International Airport. But I'll tell you where it's cooler. If you're right along the Juan de Fuca Strait, so like City of Victoria waterfront, Oak Bay waterfront, maybe you're over by the West Shore right along the water, that's where it's still kind of in the mid-teens right now for a temperature, and that's going to be the picture for the day. About 21 is the high inland, in the teens if you're by the water, and a lot of wind blowing off the Juan de Fuca Strait today, gusts up to 80 kilometers an hour. That kind of continues tonight with a low of 12. The main factor is that the big heat wave is over. We got all this wind blowing it out, and we're in a cooler but still sunny kind of situation for the next few days.
Thanks for starting your day with us. Ryan and Lisa, mornings on CFAX 1070.
In the community of Oak Bay, there's lots of discussion about what is going to happen at the area around what's known as Turkey Heads. We're talking about the Oak Bay Marina and the surrounding spot there. It was being discussed at council last night, so we're checking in with the mayor of Oak Bay. Kevin Murdoch is on the line. Sir, how you doing?
I'm great, Ryan. Thanks for having me.
Thanks so much for chatting. So this was just council receiving, I guess, sort of a staff report on the state of things. But we wanted to check in because I think a lot of people are curious about what's going to be happening there. So maybe set this up for us. What's going on with the, I guess, overall, what is the situation with the area around Turkey Head?
Sure. Well, last night, actually, we had presentation. So we've been trying to undergo a revitalization of that space, and we've what we've had to do is separate out just the marina operations, which generates revenue for us, and then the upland portion, which is the public use space. Just because we have a water lot lease that needs to be essentially finalized with an operator in the near future, just to create certainty for the boats that are there and so in the future. So we went through an expression of interest process there's a Hamasan Holdings, which is a joint venture from Sockies and Esquimalt, and the incumbent Oak Bay Marine Group. Were both expressed their interest, and so last night they had a chance to present not financials. We haven't asked for that yet. Just to provide to us and to the public an overview of their capacity, what do they see as their priorities for the marina operations? So not for the sort of public sphere space, but just for the marina operations itself. And so, we had two presentations. We had an opportunity for council to ask questions of the proponents and the public to make comment or ask questions. So it took a couple of hours to go through, but at the end of it, I think we're all a little bit clearer about what's possible and what the two proponents will bring to the table.
Well, what did you hear from the two sides? And again, for the marina operations itself, what are the different visions?
I don't think they're that radically different because it is a marina operations piece. What we heard a lot from the public was the things I think we've heard a lot in all of our public consultation, which is the desire. It's an interesting marina. Most marinas are fairly closed off. They have lock gates, and the operations are just there for the boaters. Oak Bay Marina has operated on a very public sphere model where people have access to the docks. There's a lot of paddle sports, rowing, kayaks, et cetera, that go off of the docks. And so we've heard a lot from the public about just wanting to maintain both that and the surrounding area as public water access and broader activity access. So, and then I think really wanting a really high quality marina operations that will attract transient, people coming in and traveling, and as well as the residents moorage. So a real mixed bag. At the end of the day, we have an obligation as a municipality to receive market value because it's a land disposition, and we don't have options around that. That is a requirement. So, end of the day, a lot of this will come down to the financial proposals, which we haven't yet asked for, because part of this process is to guide us as to what exactly we're going to be requiring as part of their financial package next steps.
And it's just the two bids right now, the Oak Bay Marine Group, who have had it forever, and then the First Nations Group. Are those the two different kind of parties involved here?
That's correct.
Okay, gotcha. So and when will we get to the point of a decision being made?
Well, we're going to go through this, as expeditiously as is practical, but we still have a fair bit of work to do. So next steps is we're going to be looking at their response, the full responses. There's some proprietary business information that'll come to council next week. So it'll be an in-camera meeting. At that, we'll probably give direction to get the financial quotes, but ultimately that's up to council. We'll probably stipulate some, what has to be required in those financial proposals, and then that information will come into the public realm. All of that sort of direction and so forth will be in the public realm, and then we anticipate it coming back to council. Well, we'll see, but hopefully in not too long a time frame where council can receive that information and make a decision. We want to do it. It's really once you make a decision, it may still be that both proponents are in the running and we go into negotiations with both. But we do essentially have an obligation before the end of this year to have this completely resolved, because there's just obligations as a marina operator to give notification to the tenants of the marina, and we do want we need to make sure that there's no uncertainty that would impact the business viability or comfort of the people who are staying there. So we just want to get this wrapped up.
So that's just the marina itself. But as you mentioned, there's more to it than that. There's the building with the restaurant and the coffee shop. There's the parking lot. There's that area. So when does that part get dealt with, and how is that going to change?
Yeah, so that part really does require an enormous amount of consultation. So both with First Nations, who have a lot of interest in some cultural connectivity to the site, as well as the public, who obviously have a great deal of interest in just the general use of the site. And so that process has been underway, but we haven't started the really formal consultation process. We've been working with our two First Nations to understand how they would like to be consulted. And then we have a public consultation portion as well. And so that's a little bit, that's kicked off this EOI process for the marina operations. It's just that we've been going down that path with the intention of doing the entire site. But because the consultation process is taking longer, and that's fine, we don't mind taking a little bit of time to make sure that we're doing, good, thorough consultation and discussion, and particularly with First Nations, but also with the public. We can't. That part we have more flexibility on time, but because we have our marina operations are tied to a provincial water lot lease timeline, we don't have the same flexibility on the water side.
Okay, so that's why you split it up.
That's right.
Yeah, gotcha. We got to leave it there just because we're out of time. But Oak Bay Mayor Kevin Murdoch, they were talking about it last night, and that's how they're proceeding as we continue to look at the future of the area around the Oak Bay Marina. Much appreciated. We'll talk again soon.
Absolutely. Take care.
8:30 News next on CFAX 1070.
Developing political story, a big doozy.
Vashi Capellos.
What started as a dull day is anything but.
The top newsmakers.
Your go-to political debrief. Daily.
What is really going on?
The breaking news.
Just moments ago.
And the entertaining analysis and debate to follow.
I don't think you can sugarcoat it. It's an issue.
It's not true, guys. Yeah.
Vashi Capellos.
There is a greater plan here.
Vashi Capellos. Weekdays 9 a.m. to 11.
Bigger picture politically, which is
on CFAX 1070. CFAX Victoria.
An iHeart radio station. If it's happening,
It's here.
CFAX 1070.
.31 now on Tuesday, June 16th, as we look towards a windy day, a little cooler than yesterday, and we'll get you the full forecast in a moment. Right now, the news begins, and here is Lisa Best.
Thank you. Good morning. Island Health issuing a couple of advisories for local beaches after water testing done last week. The water quality notices are up for Glen Lake in Langford and Saanich Inlet at Stelly's Crossroad. These beach advisories indicate elevated bacterial levels in the water or other potential contaminants, of course, that increase your risk of illness. If you're swimming in the water, you might want to keep your pets at bay as well. The U.S. president continues to tout his agreement with Iran after meeting with world leaders today at the G7 summit in France. ABC News senior political correspondent Rachel Scott has the latest.
Senior administration officials say the deal broadly reopens the Strait of Hormuz and lifts the U.S. blockade on Iranian ports. While the president insists the strait will be permanently toll-free, Iran says they do plan to collect fees for services. And there are still lingering questions about if Iran will get a payout.
Meantime, Canada is imposing new sanctions against Russia as its war with Ukraine continues. During the meeting today in France, Prime Minister Mark Carney says the sanctions are targeting Russia's shadow fleet, their energy revenues, defense, industrial, and disinformation actors. Ambassador of Canada to France, Nathalie Drouin, says the decision is very positive.
With, recognizing the progress that Ukraine is doing, but also recognizing that we need to continue to support Ukraine in the war they are facing.
Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky thanked Canada for its support, saying the working session on Ukraine at the G7 was great.
Our partners supported our messages, what we really need, energy package, we need air defense, more Patriot missiles.
Back here at home, the Canadian Real Estate Association says home sales in May were down compared to a year ago, but activity was higher than it was in April.
CREA says home sales totaled just over 47,000 nationwide in May, while sales were down 5.1% from the same month last year. The organization says there was meaningful upward momentum month over month for the first time this year. Activity was 5.5% higher on a seasonally adjusted basis compared with April of this year. The national average price of a home sold in May was $702,000. That's the highest it's been in 2 years. Karen Rebo, the Canadian Press.
Indigenous Services Minister Mandy Galmasti has tabled the Liberal government's long-awaited legislation to govern clean drinking water in First Nation communities. She spoke about it to reporters on Parliament Hill earlier.
Today we are reflecting a shared understanding that communities need, should, and will have access to clean water. This is not just abstract policy. This is about the people that we are serving. This is also about dignity and the future that we are building together.
A draft bill labeled for consultation until June 11th of 2026 blurs the language from a previous version that affirmed access to clean drinking water as a human right. It's not yet clear if any changes were made since the consultation period ended, as the text in the new bill wasn't immediately already available. And props from some big Hollywood movies will be auctioned next week, even some very strange ones.
Come with me. The brown hat that Gene Wilder wore in Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory will be for sale. So will the hoverboards from Back to the Future 2 and a pair of boxing shorts worn by none other than Rocky himself. The Hollywood and Entertainment Signature Auction will be held in mid-July. Bidding starts at $100,000 for the Wicked Witch of the West hat worn by Margaret Hamilton. And if you've got $1 million, I am your father. A lightsaber used by Luke Skywalker in The Empire Strikes Back, complete with Luke's severed hand attached, can be yours. Sherry Preston, ABC News.
For $1 million. That's your news to 8:35. CFAX 1070 News Poll question this morning. Do you know a senior who has faced abuse? 12% on our website saying yes, they have personally. 30% say they know somebody, and 58% say no. You can vote at CFAX1070.com or the iHeartRadio app. And Lisa Best, your news time is 8:37.
Thank you, Lisa. Let's see. Right now, the official temperature for Victoria is 19 degrees at the Victoria International Airport. But then you get by the water in Oak Bay, and it's 15 degrees, a little cooler, too, if you're by the waterfront in Colwood, where it's 16. So it's kind of... It depends on where you are. And we're going to see that all day long today with a high of 21 inland, but a high more like 17 if you're by the Juan de Fuca Strait, where the wind is blowing today with some big gusts. Full forecast to come. Right now, over to the sports. We'll start with a couple of local things real quick. Victoria Harbour Cats baseball team opening a 3-game series against the Redmond Dudes tonight. So that's your baseball. Then for local lacrosse, the junior Shamrocks are in action. They're going to be playing the Delta Islanders at the Q Center. 5:30 is the game time there. Now over to the World Cup of Soccer. So much going on there. After their FIFA World Cup quest opened with a 1-1 draw against Bosnia-Herzegovina last week, Team Canada is looking ahead to its next match. The co-host nation will face Qatar in Vancouver at BC Place Stadium this Thursday. But the team's there training right now, and midfielder Ali Ahmed, while at one of the events there in Vancouver, says the national squad is not looking to too closely right now at the standings, heading into their second game of the tournament.
One game at a time. I think, to bounce back and use some momentum that we had from the second half of Bosnia, just go in and try and replicate that second half against Qatar and get 3 points there, and then we can start talking and looking about whatever amount of points we need to try and top the group so we can stay in Vancouver.
Now, Ahmed, by the way, until recently, was a Vancouver Whitecap, so he's going to be playing kind of in his former home field when they play on Thursday. And he mentioned that he's not looking too closely at the standings, but, let's look at the standings closely for a second. Because Group B, that's Canada's group, each team in their first games had a draw. So everybody's got 1 point, single point for each team. So we'll see what happens as we get into the second games. That was, looking at Team Canada specifically. But today, here's the schedule. Groups I and J kick off their World Cup because we've still got a number of teams that haven't played yet. 4 matches scheduled in the United States today. France plays Senegal for their first games each. This is in East Rutherford. Iraq will play Norway in Boston. And in Group J, Argentina and Algeria square off in Kansas City. And Austria. I got to always make sure. Australia. This one's Austria. Plays against Jordan in the San Francisco Bay. Last night, Iran played New Zealand to a 2-2 draw. But then something happened. The coach of Iran's World Cup team says his squad was then ordered to leave the United States and return to their training base in Mexico City just a few hours after the game, whereas they had expected to stay the night in California before returning. The coach did not specify who ordered the Iranians to leave the United States. That is your CFAX Sports to 8:39. CFAX Morning Show is brought to you by Coastal Heat Pumps for a comfortable home no matter the season. Big savings on your heating bill. Talk to Coastal Heat Pumps, designed for comfort, the South Island's Elite Plus Fujitsu Air Stage dealer. Now to the roads, where it is pretty typical out there when it comes to crashes, accidents, none of that. The major routes are all pretty smooth. The West Shore backups are still there. Trans-Canada Highway a little slow through the construction zone, but it's not really anything else unusual. And in fact, the Souk Road Island Highway route is really clearing out at this point of the commute if you had a choice between the two. For downtown Victoria, though, or I should say like a little outside of downtown Victoria, we got all these construction things. Cook Street, fully closed. Pandora to Mason, and then Cook Street closed southbound from Hillside to Bay. Then we've got Vancouver. There's a closure of Vancouver right around where Pandora is. So those couple of north-south routes are blocked off today. And then for the Bay Street Bridge tonight, 7 p.m. to 7 a.m., a full closure of the Bay Street Bridge. It's open right now. It's just tonight that there'll be a full closure. And then that'll also be Wednesday night and Thursday night. For the weather forecast, it is going to be a mainly sunny day. We got a lot of wind off the water, gusts up to 80 kilometers an hour, southwesterly, off the Juan de Fuca Strait. That means with a high of 21 degrees inland, it's going to feel a lot cooler by the windy water. 17 degrees if you're kind of along the Juan de Fuca Strait there is more what the temperatures will be. A few clouds tonight, still very breezy. Lows down to 12. Mainly sunny tomorrow, highs of 21, still cooler by the water. On the markets, S&P TSX in Toronto is up 23 points to 35,303. The Dow Jones Industrials up 371 to 52,042. Canadian dollar at 71.5 cents US. It's now gained a little bit over yesterday, but like a fraction of a cent. But it's starting to turn around after slumping a little bit earlier today versus yesterday's close. And I've been talking about the barrel of oil a bit because we've been really continuing to watch that come down. It's $76.97 US a barrel right now, which is almost $4 down from yesterday's close.
In the kitchen, in the car, and at the office. Ryan and Lisa, mornings on CFAX 1070. Take us with you. Listen live on the free iHeartRadio app.
Heads up, we've got sports guy Steve joining us in just a few moments to weigh in on the World Cup. What's he thinking about the games we've seen so far? I want to ask him about the hydration break. We were talking about this yesterday on the show.
It's bugging him, too.
You and I discussed the weirdness that is the hydration break, and there's a bunch of other stuff that's been kind of fun to follow over the course of the World Cup. And of course, we have the Team Canada playing in Vancouver on Thursday, which means they're here right now, getting ready. And Steve is going to go over and see one of those games, the one on Thursday. So we'll
Thursday at 3:00.
Yeah,
against Qatar.
Yeah, we got all of that coming up in just a few moments here on CFAX 1070. But also another reminder that if you missed it, we're giving away Jazz Fest tickets all this week. We're making people call in and scat, though, do the jazz thing, you know?
If you so choose.
The skiddly bop bop bops. Those, yeah, do that.
That was pretty good. But you can't win.
Yeah. Congratulations. Just in the earlier part of the hour, Gret called in, was our first scatter. She did a great job. Won the tickets, four tickets, not 4 pairs, 4 tickets to see the Miles Electric Band as the TD Victoria International Jazz Fest kicks off on Friday. That'll be one of the first performances. That's at the Royal Theatre. But all this week, we've got different tickets to see different shows. For instance, we're going to be giving away tickets to Alicia Biro, who's playing on Sunday, and she's actually going to join us tomorrow.
Good.
So we're going to be meeting one of the Jazz Fest artists tomorrow on the program and giving away tickets to her show, as well as making people scat. So we got a lot going on tomorrow. Nice. Stay tuned for all that. Right now at 8:45 to the headlines with Lisa.
Sailors from CFB Esquimalt bound for a 1-month-long maritime exercise off the coast of Hawaii. HMCS Ottawa, Regina, and HMC Submarine Cornerbrook left yesterday to participate in the Rim of the Pacific, a month-long exercise starting next Wednesday. Throughout the exercise, our sailors and aircrew will participate in coordinated anti-submarine warfare activities, working alongside our allied and partnership ships and aircrafts to locate and track submarines that shouldn't be there. The U.S. president says he believes a deal between the U.S. and Iran can hold, even if Israel continues its attacks in Lebanon. The president shared the comments while speaking from the G7 in France today, but he rejected the loss of innocent lives. His comments come as tension with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu continues to rise as the attacks continue on Lebanon. New research shows a completely sugar-free diet may cause unintended health consequences. A study done involving an experiment with mice shows eliminating sugar from your diet can disrupt gut health and actually promote inflammation and metabolic dysfunction. The new research from an institute in Kuwait was recently presented at the Endocrine Society's annual meeting in Chicago. The lead author says the study highlights the importance of maintaining balanced dietary carbohydrates to support your gut and immune homeostasis. And the San Andreas Fault and San Jacinto Fault zone are apparently at their highest stress levels in 1,000 years. That according to a new study from researchers at the University of Hawaii. The study, published in the Journal of Geophysical Research, says the fault lines have reached unprecedented levels. The stress is usually released periodically in major and minor earthquakes, but apparently has continued to build in the 160 years since the last major rupture on the faults. The study's lead author says the fault system is currently in a critically loaded state. And that's your news to 8:47.
You can listen to Ryan and Lisa, the podcast, on any of your favorite podcast services, by the way. If you don't know, if you got Spotify or the iHeartRadio app or Apple Podcast, whatever it is, you can listen to podcast versions of this show. And as of now, you can also watch a video podcast of the show up on our YouTube channel. That's a new thing. You can also watch a live stream of the program, catch it live, catch it after the fact. Any way you want. So many ways to follow the CFAX Morning Show. We got Sports Guy Steve joining us next to talk about the World Cup of Soccer right after traffic and weather.
Where the noise stops and the conversation begins.
Hey, it's Friday. Welcome to the Graham Richardson Show.
The stories that shaped your week aren't just headlines. They are the moments we live through and the decisions that change what comes next.
Let's take a closer look at that together.
It's national conversations. From major policy shifts to the fun, unexpected trends and friends everyone will be talking about. It is intelligent, unpredictable, and completely Canadian. Stay informed. Stay ahead. The Graham Richardson Show. Friday morning at 9 a.m. right here on CFAX 1070.
CFAX 1070 traffic and weather. Okay, Bay Street Bridge, full closure tonight, 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. That's going to be tomorrow night and the next night as well. But it's fully flowing right now. We got full Bay Street Bridge being open. Some people were actually texting earlier today saying, is it open? Yeah, so it's been open both directions for a few days now, for a couple of weeks actually. But they are still working, and that's why they got these overnight closures tonight for the next few days, 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. Now, the rest of the commute, other than other construction-related delays, looking pretty good. No crashes, no accidents. Backups are starting to ease up from the West Shore into Victoria. The biggest thing is just the usual construction zone slowdown as you go down the Trans-Canada Highway and you pass the bus widening project. For the weather forecast today, mainly sunny, wind off the water. We got gusts up to 80 kilometers an hour off the Juan de Fuca Strait today. And with that real windy, cooler situation, we got a high of 21, but 17 is the high if you're right by the windy Juan de Fuca Strait. For tonight, it slows down to 12, still windy. Tomorrow, mainly sunny, a few clouds though. Highs of 21, again cooler by the water, still a bit breezy tomorrow. So we're kind of in this for a couple of days, just cooling off, a bit of a different weather pattern after the heat and the humidity of the last few days. Right now, what I talked about with the different temperatures, that's playing out because it's 19 degrees at the airport. That's the official temperature for Victoria. But if you get down by the Juan de Fuca Strait waterfront, it's more like 15, 16 degrees right now.
Ryan and Lisa. Mornings on CFAX 1070. Remember, you have us in the palm of your hand. For listeners on the go, listen live on the free iHeartRadio app.
Okay, and now it's time for Sports Guy Steve.
The
lineup in his first offering. Touch the ball to the golden goal.
It's Sports Guy Steve.
Oh, my goodness.
What did you say? You heard me.
Here's Sports Guy Steve. Just a bit outside.
Or should I say soccer guy Steve for today, because we're going to talk all about the World Cup. Steve, how you doing?
Nobody has ever described me as soccer guy Steve.
There's a first time for everything. I love this. So we're captivated by the World Cup fever. Of course, I've been watching a lot of these games. I'm sure lots of folks out there have been taking it in, or in some way this is going on. And there's all sorts of things to talk about. We're going to talk about Team Canada. You're going on Thursday, so I'd love to talk about that. There's a bunch of other storylines, but can I start with the thing that Lisa and I were talking about yesterday?
Okay, fire away.
Okay, and I think you've been talking about this too. So, one of the things we're all noticing as we watch these soccer games for the World Cup is the hydration break. It's even got like a graphic. You get this big, like, shiny sign that shows up. It's time for the hydration break. And then you get a 3-minute commercial in the middle of the half, which is unusual.
Are you saying that Fox might have played into this?
Is this really just an excuse for North American television networks to have a commercial break in soccer where usually there aren't any?
I don't really think so.
Okay.
I think that they've taken advantage of an opportunity, though, even though they said they wouldn't have like commercial breaks galore during the coverage. I think what happened here is there was an acknowledgement that some of the venues that they're going to play that are open air venues across, especially Mexico and the southern United States, would be hot, and you need that hydration break. You know what? The one thing I'm going to point out?
Yeah.
Have you noticed there's no oranges? Like what? You're having a hydration break? Remember, that was one of the incentives you used to have as a kid. Somebody's parent had to bring the oranges.
I would laugh so hard if during the hydration break they're just sucking on little orange slices. That would be really funny.
Yes, it would. Just popped into my mind. Sorry, tangent. No, so I think the idea was let's keep it uniform. Let's just do a break everywhere. The problem is they were in Houston on the weekend for a game.
Okay.
They're playing in an enclosed stadium.
Right.
With max air conditioning because it's Houston.
Yeah.
Right? So it's 68 degrees.
And they need a water break. Yeah.
Like, it's almost like I get the uniformity and we get it. The problem is Curacao had some momentum built up because they had just scored. And then the hydration break comes out and they've got nothing left because it's allowed the other team to get their bearings and sort of push forward. And they ended up getting blown out at the end of it, and they probably would have gotten blown out anyway, but it took that edge off of their attack, and they were so happy after scoring, and then you just got to go have a drink. It stinks.
Okay, the hydration break, certainly a controversial aspect of the 2026 World Cup. Okay, texter at 71010, Steve says, I would love to hear Steve's opinion on the constant diving. So, has that been on display here? I mean, that's just part of soccer, but how are you feeling it's playing out this time around?
I think it's an honor thing, and I just don't like it.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the problems that soccer has in establishing even a bigger foothold in North America is the diving and some of the theatrics that go with it. And I understand it's advantageous to do it, but it's just, I would try to stay up no matter what. That's just the way I looked at that sport. When I played, I played some traveling team and stuff like that when I was growing up.
Because you are soccer guy, Steve. We established this.
I could score because I could run fast because I was low to the ground. And so I just don't like it. Yeah. And I think a lot of people don't like it. I don't like it when I see people do it on purpose in hockey. I don't like it. I just don't like it. It's fudging the game and the spirit of the game.
Okay, let's talk about Vancouver, because this has been exciting to see Vancouver transition. And I feel like even though there was a lot of hand-wringing leading up to this, and there's still probably people who are upset that we're doing this and spending all the money, but I know from people who went over the weekend, even if they didn't go to a game, just the atmosphere in the city is it's buzzing. It's electric right now. But there's a lot of other weird things that come with it, like airspace getting closed yesterday. What happened with this, Steve?
Well, they closed the airspace over BC Place for 3 hours before game and 3 hours after.
And this is NORAD that did this.
Yes. And I was trying to figure out, well, why wouldn't they have done that for the first game? It was like, okay, so the second game and from now on we're going to do this? And then I saw on the news today, of course, that, you know, they were worried about a drone attack for UFC on the White House lawn. So I'm guessing the same people that made that decision about averting the drone strike said, hey, this could happen. Let's just wipe this off because the World Cup would be every bit as big a target as UFC was.
Maybe. Okay, interesting. But just an oddity that happened in Vancouver, airspace being closed over the BC Place Stadium. You are heading to BC Place Stadium this Thursday to see the Canada match against Qatar. That is going to be the next Canadian feature. So we're out of time right now, Steve, but would you mind joining us on Thursday? I'd love to hear about what it's like going in and maybe even afterwards. Let's just stay in touch this week, okay?
Yeah, I think I'll be able to do something from the ferry as I jump on board. That sounds like a great idea.
Okay, we'll talk again soon, and we'll be hearing you on the news today, Steve. We'll listen then.
Take care.
There he is, sports guy, or for this week, soccer guy Steve. But we're right at a time. Thanks for listening, everybody. Thanks to Morgana Adby for producing the show. Lisa's got your 9 o'clock news next.